Life's a piece of shit when you look at it.
Life's a piece of shit.
Life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true. You'll see it.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the bright side of life. Welcome to the Asylum podcast for Star Citizen, episode, I think, 9, possibly not. This week we are joined by... Is it 8? I don't think it is. I don't know. Who cares? Right. It's a podcast. Whatever. Joined this week by a little bit of madness, as always. Mr. Moist Noodle.
Hello, it's me, Moist Noodle.
And the wonderful, slightly broken SuperMacBrothersRyan.
Ouch.
How are you, everybody?
I've been better. Just say that.
He's been better.
Shit, you're right, it's 9. I got it wrong.
It's about 10 past 9.
No, I mean, oh, yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's because we were too busy playing the bright side of life, so I thought I'd just get that going instead.
I'm a bit distracted.
He's trying to work out what episode it is.
It's 9, it's 9.
So I was right.
9? You're right, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. But I'm going to be forgiven because I'm literally sat in my broken kitchen with things holding things up. And I've got there's no water, there's nothing, it's completely gutted. So I'm sat on a wooden chair again, as you can tell. And I'm really uncomfortable.
His lovely, nice racing chair just gone back out, packed away.
2-3 hours of this.
I just got, and I'm literally, I
think we're going to do a 4-hour special just so your ass goes completely numb. It's just they can't stand up afterwards. It's like, shit.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't know how I was.
Oh, I thought he just muted himself. Then.
Oh, you're in.
You literally wasn't going to lie because none of that was heard.
Did I? You tonight, so I might break in and out a bit. I'm afraid.
It's cool.
Just like that. Okay.
I'll keep it short and sweet.
Keep it short and sweet.
Okay, cool.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. So, Star Citizen. That's what we're here to talk about. Sometimes we do actually talk about it. Other times we talk about things that are dangerous and things like that.
Even like.
So, before we do that, I'd like to do the usual sponsored announcement, but we're not actually sponsored by them. But if you are, or if you're not going, you should be going to BritisonCon 2018. It is on April the 21st on Saturday in Manchester. !BritisonCon in chat will give you a link to everything that you need to know about it. Make sure you go and get your tickets. Come and join us. Mac and I will be hosting the Twitch stream, but we'd rather see you there in person. You can come and run over to us, give us a slap. No, don't give us a slap. Just say hello on stream. Give us beer, that works.
Run over to us with the beer. While
we're there. And then also there's a Bar Citizen the Friday before, and there's also a Bar Citizen on the Saturday evening after the show as well. So make sure you turn up for all of it. It's worth it. Go and get your tickets.
And it's officially booked as the Bar Citizen. You got confirmation, which is that your wife?
I'm telling you, there's no audio. There's nothing to stop any sound. So any slightest. That was her leaving. She's just taking my kid and left.
She's just. I
saw it. Move
Here's the divorce. Chucks it.
Right to my mother's.
Don't joke about these things, guys. I'm sure it's happened.
So that's the announcement. Please, if you haven't, make sure you go. We'll announce it again at the end of the show, just for those people that turn up. But yeah, it's going to be great. We've been the last few years. It's always good fun. Lots of people go. You get to meet all the devs. Anything you can imagine that Star Citizen, it's all about that. So
get to stalk the devs as well.
You do. They're not quite as happy about
Ryan Chambers is going to be there.
Especially when you take pictures in the toilet with them. But
that was Germany. That's a different world.
It's allowed over there.
Yeah, that's legal over there. They don't mind.
Right. So let's. Anyone else got any announcements they want to make? Or should we move on?
No, I mean, if people feel like it, they want to donate to the channel, you can become a patron and all that good stuff. But we'll entertain you first with a great show, and then we'll feel compelled.
You can ask for a refund at the end.
Shh. You're just not selling it, Miz. We're too British. Too British. We need to lie. Be like, this is the greatest show in the world. You need to hit the patron button, and you need to That's a terrible American accent.
Is that your American?
Yeah.
Wow, I'll stop right now. I can't do American.
Black Brick Studio being in Australia is not an excuse not to come to BritainCon. It's a little hop, skip, and a jump over a big ocean. You'd be fine.
Yeah.
Also, exclamation mark question in chat will bring up our question form. If you wish to ask us anything during the podcast, please submit your questions. We're trying a little newish format from last time. Rather than do all the questions at the end, we will try to answer some as we go along as well. And also, you can try and ask them in chat, but obviously, filling out the form, we can see them a little bit easier. So, feel free to do so. Did you say you was going to give some codes away to that Gleam giveaway?
We're doing our own giveaway. I'm setting it up.
Okay. Wow, forget that.
We're all doing different things. We're all doing different things. Like he's setting up a Gleam thing. I'm putting out a Twitter pitch, guys. Where I'm currently. We're all doing completely different things.
And I'm the one trying to do the podcast.
We are going to be doing a Vulcan LTI giveaway this evening. Well, over a month, but it'll be starting this evening
on the Asylum channel.
Yes.
Hell yeah!
Check out Moist with it. Yeah. Wow. He's so good. So good. We all
so well behaved.
I love Moist.
Oh,
I love me some Moist Noodles. It's okay.
This is getting awkward now. Can you stop?
Did you know in China that they actually there's some sort of bird's nest soup that they actually use bird's nests to make?
Moist Noodles.
Are you sure they do? I know it's called bird's nest, but you can have it over here as well. But it's like very fine noodles.
I expect over here it'll be like Singapore or egg fried noodles, but it's
no, it's like these, like they deep fry. I think these like very thin rice noodles. They're like see through. Deep fry so that it becomes like a stiff nest. I don't know if they actually. Well, maybe they do. I mean, they do eat. They do do sort of weird stuff.
That I got wrong.
They do weird stuff, so you never know.
That's right. What do you mean by they?
Yes.
I mean them. Trust me. Well, I went to Vietnam and they tried to give you a like half born duck egg. What's it called?
Duck egg
fetus thing. It's
and it's like on a salad.
She's like ate into it, and then there's like half developed feathers and stuff.
Wow.
That sounds really exciting. I'm really glad we're talking about this on this week's podcast. Where is it in the doc again?
It's not even. I don't know what we're talking about. It's literally off the rails.
It's
the
under
back
other
and
things.
it's just gone. It's gone.
The whole plan was just. Right, let's get back to it.
Look, hang on. Let's just get on. So on topic then. So how's everyone week been? Have you guys played Star Citizen this week? If you haven't, that's not a problem. What have you been playing? What have you been doing? What's the update for each person? So we will start with Miz. You go first. You're the host.
Okay.
And then you can
I haven't been playing Star Citizen. I have been watching the videos for it, but that's about as far as I've got so far. I played a bit of War Tile the other night because Des is away, so we weren't doing the paint prep and roll. So I did a bit of this new game called War Tile. It was freaking hard. I died lots in it, but it was good fun. So you can find the video of that on my my Twitch channel if you want to watch it.
If you don't mind, what's it about? Just give me a quick.
So it's like a tabletop game. But you kind of play it so it's almost like a real-time strategy game. You've got like a board, 3D board that goes up at imagine like a scene that's already been made, like a world tree. It's like Vikings and things, and you've got like hexagons along the board, so you move it like a board game, and you've got like little figurines, and you have to go and do a quest on each of the maps, and you can get ambushed and things like that. So it's like playing an online board game, which is kind of, as Disposable Hero said to me, he goes, it's a bit ironic that we playing on PCs and you're going back to board game style games but on the internet. But it helps with the visuals. It's really nicely done. It looks really nice, and it's kind of like, you know, when you do board games you have like Monopoly, you have cards that you play. It's kind of that as well. So if you're attacking, you have a deck of cards that you can throw special attacks down and things like that to help your little figurine battle and stuff. So it's actually been released out of early access as well, which makes a nice change for a game. So it's a little indie developer. So it's only something like 14 quid, so it's quite cheap. But it's worth it. I thought it was good fun. It was quite hard, harder than I expected it to be. So yeah, I've been playing that, and then other than that, I've been doing we didn't have D&D on Friday, unfortunately, but I've been doing some daytime D&D sessions with a few of the group and my missus as well. She's bringing a druid into the mix, so I've been doing some of that. The videos for that aren't up on YouTube, but I don't know why I said that because you can't watch them anyway. So we're doing that, and next Friday's D&D should be continuing, hopefully, from where we left off.
Sorry,
So that's my
D&D,
week.
Dungeons and Dildos,
And
right?
Dragon.
Of
And
course.
dildos.
Yeah. It's whatever you want it to
I like
stand
where
for.
this is going.
Come round to mine. We'll have a game of D&D.
Well, we was having a joke about that because I think I don't know how it went down there, but we're now weekly shopping. We do like what we're going to have for the week for food, and on Sunday we have sausage and mash sometimes. So on our thing it says just S&M, and so some people are coming along going, "Wow, they've got like their weekly dinner, and then on Sunday they've just got written on the calendar S&M." It's like, okay,
And then you get
what-
people turning up thinking, this is what I
Yeah,
expect.
this isn't the sausage. I had the sausage.
Sending out a weekly S&M letter.
Everyone turns up in the leathers. What? I'm going
It's, just
home.
sausage. It's not that exciting. It's just sausage and mash, I'm afraid. Maybe we wear a gimp suit while eating it. I don't know, but yeah.
One of my colleagues at work was telling me a story last week about how she used to sell Tupperware in the 80s, and she went to this old police station, and she walked in, and there was some rather risque artwork on the walls, but she thought, oh, this is just a modernist place, and it turned out to actually be a bondage group who met there every Friday.
In the police station?
In the police
Yeah,
station?
it's an old police station.
Oh, right.
And they used the cells, and they asked, did she want a tour? And
Tupperware?
wanting not to be rude, she said, of course, I'll have a tour of your facility.
Oh, wow.
And
That's good though. That's like I think that's good because that's recycling a building.
no,
You
it's
know
not.
what I mean?
It's not good. She didn't sell any fucking Tupperware.
Surely they need a place to store the dildos. So, and
Yeah,
those-
she should have easily sold them
Sealable.
Tupperware. She should have
True.
told them
Yeah.
she didn't do a good job. She should have said how
Stackable.
well they stack, how well you can keep,
Clearly. Well, she
keep the
doesn't sell
dust off of
Tupperware
them.
anymore, so clearly it wasn't a career for her,
wasn't
really,
a
was
career
it?
move.
No.
But I mean, what better building than a police station, really, for that?
I know. I've always wanted a proper dungeon rather than the spare room that I'm using.
Of course you have.
I've been told I should hang up a riding crop and some handcuffs in the background on S&M days. It's just-
Oh, hello, Ichiru. Ichiru walked at the perfect moment there.
Come in about Tupperware. That's all right. You missed the bondage session, so it's fine.
Sorry, Madness is just tweeting.
Sorry, my fans. What can I say?
Oh, that's nice. You
Do
have fans.
you want to just go now and we'll have a 3-person podcast? It's fine.
Three-way.
A 3-person.
Just
3-way.
tweeting out there. Just three-way. Oh my god, it's all going wrong. S&M
So,
3 ways.
that was my
Tupperware.
week.
It's just
We are
weird.
way off
That-
track
that was
from where
my
we're
week.
supposed to be.
It's 'cause there's
How
nothing to
was
talk
yours,
about.
Noodle?
What was my what?
How was your noodle?
Oh,
How was your noodle?
How
How
was
is
my
your
week?
noodle this week?
I'm concentrating on something else. Yeah, so I
It's when he
started
looks-
streaming.
It's when he looks down. And it's fine.
I actually started streaming again this week. Today, I remembered to bring something home from work.
Was it your car?
Streaming PC. So I've actually had some really annoying issues with my computer blue screening. I think for multiple reasons. So that will help with that. It also means I'll have a higher frame rate in Star Citizen because OBS won't be eating CPU. And generally, it will be lovely when I get that sorted. So hopefully the next couple of days. And I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance on stream, which I'm really enjoying, minus the bugs. And yesterday I started playing Vermintide 2, which is fucking awesome. So
I've
yeah,
got that. I have
that
no
was-
one to play it with though. This is
You have got Vermintide
me?
2 of you?
you,
yeah.
BT, you
Miserable
mean?
G, and Edison Trent plays. So there we go.
Well,
The other one,
All my
have you
boyfriend
seen,
plays.
Moist? Have
Good
you
day.
seen, is it Deep Rock Galactic, the one with the dwarfs mining?
that's out
I
now,
want to
isn't
get into that.
I
I do want to get into that.
They sent me a key early alpha and I did I do it with you, Mac, or was it just Madness?
We did
I know I
it. Yeah,
definitely
we
with
did it
Madness.
together. We got
Madness.
Chav as well, and Chav came
Yeah,
in as well.
Madness
We
and
did it.
Chav, and we did that. It was fucking funny.
good.
We
There's been an
died a
update
lot.
to that, hasn't there?
Well, it's now in. Well, no, it's not out. It's early access. We played it like pre-alpha or alpha, and now it's early access on Steam. So at least it's moving forward, unlike some games. So, but yeah, that's very similar.
Does it have bind culling?
Wow.
It's similar to Vermicide. One thing I did notice on that game though is they had, I don't know if it's a feature or something they're adding to it, but they had it where the Twitch chat could spawn like spiders and shit in the mines, and it had their names over the top.
I love that.
So basically, Twitch chat just spammed them with all these fucking spiders with interactive. So you were
really
killing
cool.
your chat. I don't know if that is an actual
that's
feature.
cool.
I don't know how I saw it on YouTube. But if they add that, that would be a really fun thing to do with Twitch chat trying to kill us.
Because I think the first game that did that sort of thing was one of the Tomb Raider games, I believe.
Oh really?
Where you could like spawn shit to kill Lara Croft. Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I've not seen that one.
I'd be spawning different things for Lara Croft, that's for sure. Just saying. Killed that conversation, didn't I?
Was that
Sorry, I went back to Photoshop. Sorry.
But slightly rapey.
I'm just photoshopping in some Tupperware.
Just a little. Pixels is okay.
So yeah, well maybe we'll try and see if we can get some keys for that as well or something and play that. That'd be good fun. And Mac, how are you? Yeah,
Back. I'm back. Mac is back.
Mac is back.
Yeah, I decided to take the week off to sort of sort of inspire myself actually back into the game, because I've sort of lost interest and I didn't find myself really wanting to create videos and stream, and just sort of got a bit dull with it. So after getting a boot in the face, I thought it's a good sort of kick up the ass, kick in the face to get me back on track. And I've rekindled my inspiration with the game again, back on track with videos.
To explain, Mac actually got booted in the face.
That's really why he hasn't been
doesn't have to
streaming.
explain
He can't show his face.
It was kind of, we were all in the mosh pit. It was all fun, and everyone started getting dragged out and pushed over the barriers and taken outside. And everyone's like, I was stood outside with about 3 or 4 people being like, what the fuck's, why is everyone chucking us out? And they're like, I don't know. I'm waiting for my friend. He's now being brought out by the bouncers. So he came down, and I sort of walked up towards him with his mate and said, why are we getting thrown out? At which point he just kicked me in the face. I don't know why. And literally, I think I remember rolling back. I'd had a few as well, so I was a bit drunk. But I remember rolling back, and I think he must have kept kicking because I've got like bruises. And afterwards, I sort of stood up, and I was like, there was a group of people around me trying to offer me a fag for some reason. Do you want a cigarette? I'm like, no, why did he kick me? Was basically, yeah. It's like, what? Can anyone explain what happened there? So yeah, I'm fine now. It's all fine. And yeah, I didn't want to. One of the reasons I didn't want to stream is because it's going to be a case of every time someone new came into the stream, it'd be like, "What happened to your face?" Okay, this happened. And someone else comes in. What happened to your face? I'm like,
fuck. You know that's going to happen now anyway.
I thought about getting a command for it.
Hang on a minute. You were worried about repetition, and you stream Star Citizen.
Boom.
Wow.
But yeah, so now I'm back at it. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. Hey up, all the cameras have gone.
I know. I just went full screen with a mistake. I clicked the wrong thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll be back on it now as normal. And yeah, just catch it. It may not be as often until we start getting more to play, but I'm going to be playing Escape from Tarkov, going to be playing other games, and I've got a Hunt video coming out and a Kingdom Come video, so that's a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun, was that Hunt game.
Yeah, I see the Kingdom Come game, right? Because like Moist, you've played it.
Yeah,
you've played it as well, haven't you, Mac? Miz, have you played it?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. So, and all 3 of you really like it, right?
Yeah.
What's its downsides?
It's very buggy.
Yeah.
I think the downside is you've got, like, you know, like you were saying, how you like games like Call of Duty that are quick, fast-paced, exciting.
Yeah.
It's not one of those games. It's not one of those games that you can jump in for a quick hour of excitement. It is a long-ass sort of, you got to go from one place to the next to then go somewhere. But I really enjoy it. There's just something about it that I don't see in any of the games with the level of realism. It's just really well done. There is a lot of buggy, and the audio for it is terrible.
Like,
the
voice acting, it sounds
the voice acting,
Well,
the
it's-
environmental audio.
People say it's kind of mixed, so like it's some of the voice acting is really good, some of it's a bit bad.
I've noticed that. It's like they've hired like
Budget, though,
two
innit? They
or
got budget.
three professional actors, and then for the rest of
Yeah.
it, they went to the office next door and asked
Yeah.
the accountants if they could do some voice acting.
I think it's the
sound a bit like-
consistency, isn't it? It's the consistency of the voicing and things. It's just a bit.
Yeah.
I think that's. Here's my question then, just because it's interesting. Because it's a bit like, it reminds me of like The Witcher kind of peaked by the third one. I mean, the first one and the second one were excellent games, but it peaked by the third one. I think they've obviously made huge amounts of profit because it sold very well. So they made a lot of money as a studio. So I'm thinking I'll probably just wait, probably either for the second or the third version. I'm just wondering, does this story, has anyone finished it? Do you know if this is a continuation of a character story, or will they be, do you think it'll be like, no, we'll just scrap this character and then start with a new character?
I don't know. It
I
could
don't
be.
know.
It could be either, because the thing is, what they've done is they've taken the whole of that area and sort of recreated it to actual accurate records. So the towns, the villages, they're all quite accurate. So they'll have to do that all again if they're going to choose somewhere else. Now, surely the fact they've gone to all that effort, they could recycle the same land, but then would we get bored of being in the same area? I just want someone to mod in a weapon, like a machine gun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Well,
necessarily
there
say
are
wait
mods
for the
coming
next
in. There's
one,
already a
but
nude mod.
it might be worth. It might be worth waiting for like
You want
some
hang on,
patches.
Mac, you want the Last Action Heroes Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what you basically want.
Yeah.
It just gets the machine guns, twin machine guns out.
You call that a knife?
But one of the things I have to remind myself of, right, is like archery is really awful in that game. But as somebody
Yeah.
pointed out in a forum that I went to, because I was thinking in my head how bad it was, like bows in that age were actually that bad. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, they've
Bows.
actually been quite accurate. Yeah, bows.
Hang
You know,
on.
bows, the things that
You
aren't
know-
guns.
Miz is like an expert bowman, right?
Oh really? Are you?
Yeah,
Miz?
He's like expert. Like he's made his own longbow.
He's
Ooh.
fucking Cupid, he is.
I haven't
seen your,
tried it in
longbow,
game to
Miz.
tell you whether it's accurate, but they obviously aren't as accurate as a modern bow. But you can be accurate with them with practice. But then that's how Kingdom Come is, isn't it? The same with the sword. You have to get good on the extra fight, you need to keep doing it. So I don't know if it's
Yeah.
the same. I need to look. I haven't got as far as being able to use a bow in game to tell you whether it's accurate.
I actually got a headshot with my bow yesterday. I was like, how the fuck did that happen?
Not with an arrow, with the bow.
Yeah,
think-
I threw the bow.
I think I wouldn't if I lived back if I went back to medieval times, being honest, I don't think I would probably mess with an archer because he's got nothing probably better to do all day other than fire bow and arrows all day long. So I reckon he'd probably get pretty damn good. If you had nothing else to do, you don't have to go to school, learn to read and write generally. All you have to do is fire bow and arrow. You'd get pretty freaking good.
But I'm
I
sure
reckon.
if you just stood right next to him, you can't do much with you.
I need to sort out the puppy a second.
Be
Yeah, like-
accurate though. It'd be like
Yeah,
Yeah,
longbow
but
to
he's still
the
stood right
face.
next to you. He'll be like that. You just keep standing this side of his bow. He'll be like, wait, turn around, come here. Just keeps turning
Well,
around.
no,
trying
he'd
to
probably
find
just get an arrow and stab you in the eye with it.
you. In the eye.
Yeah.
What happened to the knee? Like the good old days.
That's where you shoot them. If you're going to stand close, you have to just stab you in the eye. It's just the way it is.
Oh, fantastic. But yeah, no, I mean, personally, from what I've seen, it hasn't appealed to me just yet. I think I'll wait maybe for the next, once they get that polish. I think the second or the third version, maybe the next one they do, I'll probably get it. Or when it's cheap for me. It's not quite tick the boxes. For me, it's the voice acting. I really do. For me, it's like, it's so important. That's why with Star Citizen, the fact they've got a great cast for Squadron 42 is so important to me. It's like,
Oscar-winning cast.
yeah, exactly,
Which is-
an Oscar-winning
Which is
cast.
now what they can put on the box. They now have an Oscar-winning actor as
What, with
as the lead-
Churchill?
lead. Churchill, yeah. The character, not the actor, just a little character. We're not adding Churchill to that game.
Has he not won an Oscar until then? Or is he?
That was his first
nominated?
Oscar, yeah. He's been nominated,
right.
I think, but that was actually his first Oscar, yeah.
Who, sorry, are we talking about?
Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Gary, has he won an Oscar finally?
But
I didn't know.
Yeah,
his
he won it
performance. I've not seen
was
it,
it
but I've
yesterday?
seen an advertisement of it, and it's just insanely good.
Yeah.
Every time I see him come on camera, I'm like, He's in Star Citizen.
I know, I keep saying it, and my missus is like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, I don't even care about Star Citizen, let alone whether he's in
I'm
it.
sat on my own. There's no one else. I'm not impressing anyone.
Yeah, I'm glad that, because I'm the same. It's like, you try and tell her to say, look, he's an Oscar winner, and he's in Star Citizen. And she's just like...
Yeah. You feel like a bond with him already, don't you? Gary, I'm a Star Citizen.
He's that kind of guy, though, isn't he? He does strike me as that sort of bloke you could easily probably sit down for, but you'd like sit down for a pint.
You
with.
know,
I know he's not drinking anymore because he's obviously a reformed alcoholic. But if he wasn't, you know, you could probably sit down with him and have a pint.
You know EastEnders. You know Mo from EastEnders.
Yeah.
Have you seen? You know that old haggardy woman? That's his sister.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, and he's like literally like your typical Englishman, sort of just. He just acts. Like, he looks like he could be your granddad.
Yeah. I wish he was my granddad. The stories he could tell would be brilliant as well.
Yeah, same. I mean, my granddad's dead, so, I mean, it'll just be like...
I had a granddad once.
Dark. You've gone really dark now.
Granddad, tell us about when you played Churchill. Doesn't matter. We'll move on.
Oh, shit.
We'll talk about something else.
Bounce me in your knee, Grandad. No, you can't.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
Well, so going onto what is that? So that, I mean, what do you think that's going to help? Well, it should help him being Oscar winning in Star Citizen, being able to put that on. Do you think they'll put that on the box? I mean, they normally do.
Yeah,
of course. Do you think they're going to play on that now? He's won the Oscar. Are we just waiting for the
Oscar
Star
winner?
Yeah, I would.
Come on, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Oscar-winning cast. They've already said award-winning cast, haven't they? On there.
So now they can put Oscar-winning cast.
Stick Oscar-winning on it.
Yeah,
it's like the best thing. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
They need to.
Why not? So my week will be literally watching my kitchen being built. So and working because I got tons of crazy colours.
Live stream it.
But last week I've streamed a lot of Star Citizen.
Funny you mention a kitchen. I will just happen to be selling a kitchen from quite a well-known British high street retailer as of this week. So if you could just all follow me on eBay, that would be great. Thanks. Sorry, carry on. It has a granite worktop as well.
Have you not got a little video promo you can just roll up right now?
We're just going to go into VT.
It's almost as if we planned it and like triggered something about kitchen for Moist to be able to sell something. Who knew? But yeah, go check it out. Go check it out on eBay. I'll be checking it out. That's for sure.
Yeah, what it is. Madness, you ought to do a stream of them. Are you fitting your kitchen, or are you getting professional people?
Professional.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine Madness fitting a kitchen. It'd just be that like, oh, these cupboards, they aren't what I was expecting. Oh, they haven't arrived quick enough for my liking.
Way too long.
Do you know what though? I will be like that. I'm pretty chilled out. I'm pretty chilled out, Jen. I already know because I'm building it pretty much the way I want it. So I'm very like particular. I've got all the tiles are all ready to go, and like, you know, I'm already gearing up to make sure that they seal it properly. That's my one focus on the whole kitchen is that when they place the backboard or the kitchen worktop surface, they have to make sure that seam line is perfect and it's just got just enough tilt so the water won't stay in the corners and at the back behind the sink, because that's where anyone that has a kitchen, that's where most of the damage happens from water damage.
Anyone who has a kitchen.
This is why I just drill holes in the worktop just so it drains through.
And the walls, the windows.
Fuck the sink, we'll just drill holes.
I don't know if you can, I'm not a builder.
In my worktop.
Nah, don't worry, love, we can sort that out.
Nice.
I'll have that sorted in a second.
I've got one better than that. We just don't actually bother with a worktop. You got to put something on the worktop and it just falls through into the cupboard. It's like, there we go.
The functional triangle, absolutely. Well, I mean, you got to listen. Right, you know, they give their recommendations and try.
I know nothing. They're terrible. I mean,
they always want to easy, don't they? Though, right?
Well, we got one, and it's like, oh, your kitchen's not big enough for a freaking island. And now, like, well, when they went away, we designed our own in the end, and it's like got a 2-unit wide island in the middle of it. It's like, there's fucking tons of room. We could have even made it bigger. And I ripped our old kitchen out and put it in the utility room, and I made it like worked out, did all the units, and I fit that. and then they did the kit. We had someone else come in and do the kitchen, and halfway through it, he goes, "Oh yeah, I used to be a window fitter," and I'm like, "Oh fuck, that's just what you want to fit in your fucking kitchen, a window fitter." And when they come to put the granite in, they just turn around and said, "Well, we're going to pack it because it hasn't made it all level all the way around." And then when they went to put some in the utility room, "Oh, this is nicely done." It's like, yeah, thanks. I should have just done it fucking myself. Well, but like, the missus was mad because there's electronic sockets are like that, and she's going, "Have you not even had a fucking spirit level in your bag just to put on a thing and see whether it's level or not?"
He has a different kind of spirit level in his bag, doesn't he?
I think he just puts some marble on the surface, and if it rolls, he goes, "Ah, fuck it, that's straight."
Yeah.
That will do. Now, do you know what? It did slightly concern me when my build did say to me, he goes, "Yeah, my last job was a consultant." A bit like, oh fucking hell. Slightly worried. I was like, "You have me doing." Dad, you're great granddad, you know.
This
What was that
is
bit?
my
Say that
first
again.
week of fitting kitchens.
Oh, you know, your dad, your granddad, like the great granddad.
Do you want to know something funny? At work, we're actually moving to a new
Experts.
building. I say moving to a new building. It's owned by the. They bought the building, closed the store. Oh, sorry, I say they bought it. They leased it, but they leased it for 35 years and closed the store after a year. So they're going to give it to us rent free.
Nice.
And it's been empty for 4 years. We've got into it, and there's a hole in the roof. It's 4 stories. There's rats in there. It's really frigging grim. So we need to get builders in. The best quote that we've had so far is 80 grand to do it up.
Tell you what, you give me 40 grand, Moist.
Yeah,
But here's the thing.
Around and do it.
Down there.
Pretty much all the builders, they come and see it, and they're really nice. And they're like, yeah, we'll send you the quote, and then we never hear from them ever again.
I had that when we did trying to do the landscape, the garden. It's like, oh yeah, we'll do that. And like people that call themselves landscape gardeners, basically they cut grass because they don't know anything about landscape in the actual grounds.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Tree surgeons.
Tell you what, though, 60 grand. It does sound more than it's actually. You're just chopping just branches, aren't you? I do that when I go camping. I'm a tree surgeon when I go camping. I'm also a landscapist.
Exactly. When you dig a hole to have a shit in it, you mean?
I'm also a landscapist. I'm good at cutting bushes.
Yeah. Manscaping. Manscaping.
Oh, Madness got it! Well done! Hey! Did I tickle your pickle?
That was, you did.
You
tickled my pickle. Very good. So yes, we do eventually talk about Star Citizen as a show,
Sometimes.
but rarely.
This is more
But
fun.
rarely.
This is more
Exactly.
There's nothing to talk about this week.
There's a few things to talk about.
The Noobify didn't even bring out a video, did he? For reverse of
He just said they did. It said Noobify, no bull.
There's no bullshit. There we go. Nothing to say.
Reverse in 0.0.0 seconds.
No bullshit. It was lit. I think his one. You know, in they asked the weatherman what the weather's like, and he goes, "Rain," and then it cuts back. That's basically rain. That's pretty much what the Noobify had to do. Nothing.
ATV was 17 minutes, I think, this week. It was
a
something
good
special.
It was 8. It was 8 minutes. It was. Don't lie. It
was 8 minutes. Realistically,
ATV was 8 minutes. It had 1.5, roughly 1 minute to 1 and a bit minutes of introduction. Then it had like 4 minutes of something. Then it had a little bit of something for nothing, and then we had a 4 to 5 minutes of fluff where they just showed the actor face spinning with the cutscene from Squadron 42.
Yeah, ATV.
And they did it to every single one. They did every single one, and it was just like, by the time I was like, I've got it, guys. Like by the first time you face scan people and put them into the game, and it looks really good. Good job. But I don't need to see 5 minutes of it.
Nah. I mean, they did do the ship rundown. I don't mind. Like, I like catching up on the ships. That's quite interesting to hear.
Yep.
I'll tell you what. Well, since it was such a nice long, should we just go straight to ATV and discuss that a little bit, and then we can go back to the other things that we got.
We can go through questions, by the way, guys. If you ask questions now, we'll put questions up. We can go through the questions at the same time as we're going through stuff. So don't be shy. Throw questions into our question summary thing, and we'll go through them as we're going through the show, rather than wait until the end and all that nonsense. We'll actually try and read through them as we go along. So if you do want to talk about something like ATV related or whatever, chuck it in now, and we'll read it out as we go along.
This document I've got.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Idris crew first, yeah?
No, because we just said we're going to. We did that last week. I don't know why that's still on there, but
that was the top one's a mistake. That's
well,
the top one's a mistake.
We brought up ATV, so I thought maybe we'll just go and do that because it wasn't a long one anyway. So there's a few nice things to look at and talk about. So let's do that, and then we'll go back up to the discussion thing. Well, I mean, we've just wasted about a half hour talking about cutting bushes and kitchens, so we can go back to manscaping later.
Yay!
So the first thing they mentioned was the Tumbrel being flight ready or coming to.
I'm so excited for the Tumbrel Cyclone. Oh, have we lost Madness?
Have we lost Madness? We have lost Madness.
That bottle was far too intense for the video feed.
Every time
look at his face with it as well. It's,
that's just like his normal face.
It looks so sad.
It's just his thinking about Star Citizen face.
No, the Tumblr Cyclone's looking really cool.
Oh, he's back again. That was perfect. That was a perfect little scene change there. It was just like freeze frame, bomb. Nice.
Can I make an announcement, by the way, really quickly? I am going to be open. This is probably going to upset a lot of Americans, but I'm going to be opening a Kinder Surprise on stream later. So if you want to know what's in the Kinder Surprise, I might even give it away as a prize. Stay to the end. Only I can't send it to America.
We are going to have the big reveal. Can you not send the toy to America?
I can send the toy to America. I can't sell the toy in
the egg.
It's because it's a toy inside an edible item.
That's some real bullshit there.
But they can have a gun, so it's fine.
But in all seriousness, just like Pablo Escobar, there's a whole thing about smuggling Kinder Eggs over the Canadian border into America. So I could be the Kinder Egg version of Pablo Escobar.
Was it chocolate bunnies?
On a moped.
On a moped.
Chocolate bunnies can't ride mopeds.
Are you sure? Why is that not? Is it not legal?
I'm not sure at all.
Why not?
I have no proof.
What about Happy Meals? Are they allowed them? I mean, the toys inside the food box, or is that banned as well?
You're gonna send a Happy Meal.
But that's American, isn't it? So
by the time they
Should I just try to walk over the border from Canada, right, into America with a Happy Meal in one hand and a Kinder Egg in the other hand, and just see which one they're trying to take off?
We're racist debate. Which one?
Border control. Hey, excuse me, sir. You can't take that through.
That's okay, but not that. Yeah. Oh my God. But anyway, the Tumble Cyclone is looking really good.
It is.
It's flight ready, even though it doesn't fly.
It's the only one though on the list of the ships for the patch that seems to have things maybe holding it back. Actually.
Well, I don't know. Have you looked at the Reclaimer? There's a lot of people saying about the Reclaimer, oh, it's ready. But there's loads that needs doing on the
the Reclaimer's 39 out of 57. So that's probably the one I would expect. If anything got held back, it would be probably that one. But I'm quite optimistic it's going to make it. Because...
I mean, that's why they're very confusing with their language, because when you read monthly report, it kind of appears that it's finished. Then when you go into detail on something else, where you see the numbers, it's actually only like quite far. It's still got quite a bit to go.
Watching RTV as well. The two producers whose names I always forget the name of, but the one is really attractive and he must be on a good salary, so I would bang. Like the way they're talking, obviously they're pulling the data for that directly from the Jira API. So
this is
I don't know how it can be.
It happens, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know how they can be saying it's pretty much ready when there's still loads to do, unless like it's lots of small things to do, maybe. See, a task
could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah.
The reason why they don't specify is because it would just be jargon, and we don't want to know jargon. But yeah, I mean, 39 out of 57. It's.
I don't know. I really like the idea of seeing Madness reading through some.
Yeah.
Quite easy. I do it pretty much most of the time. It's fine.
To be fair, you're reading the Sun newspaper. Oh, this is a bit complicated.
It's complicated. Look, don't even start me on kind of like IQ quizzes or reading age. I did that brain testing thing. I remember I was a kid when that was a big thing on what was it on? Was it iPhones or Game Boy or something? I can't remember what it was. It was like you download the game brain tester or something for Nintendo, and I did that, and I remember just like had an brain age of like 90 or something. It was tragic.
By the way, Matt Sherman's in chat, and Matt Sherman has clarified rather that art complete is not design implementation complete. Thank you, Matt. That's very helpful. Yes.
That does seem quite obvious, though.
Yeah, well,
not to me.
Didn't we talk about the other week? Some things that are quite obvious. I think, was it last week's Ask the Devs thing? A load of the questions were just kind of about the Vulcan that were so obvious that people voted them up as most needed questions. So clearly, common sense isn't that.
See, that's the thing. It's kind
I have
of
no common sense.
This new upvote is good because it gets some of the real important questions answered, which I'm happy to hear. But then you do get ones that are repeated, ones that are quite, like you say, common sense. But
will I be able to repair with this repair tool? Probably.
You do. That is just tragic.
That's quite common sense, though, Miz. That's I agree with that.
I really hope we get the Reclaimer though. But how far off? Like it's end of March, isn't it? We're expecting 3.1.
Well,
I think.
Eva Carti's, from what I understand, isn't Eva Carti going to be here soon?
Yeah, but think about 3.0. They didn't drop everything directly into the Eva Carti from the get-go. Like they drip fed even in the PTU.
True.
So I suspect like they'll get some features to start off with, and they'll add more through the Eva Carti period and PTU period if you get that. So.
Well, yeah, but depends how. When's the date? What's the date officially for Q1?
We don't know the official date. We just know it's the end of March. They've not given an exact date yet.
Okay, we are currently
beginning of March, first week.
The 5th of March. So we've got about 3 weeks.
So that's to go to what stage? Is that to go to live? Is that to go to PTU? Is that go to?
Actually,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. No, it doesn't actually say.
Does it go to Eva Carti? Does it just count Eva Carti as that? Do we know?
It's a good question, actually. That's a very good question.
Maybe we should put that on the spectrum. We should put that on the spectrum and upvote that to the top of the list.
Sherman, do you know the answer to that one? Can you clear that one up for us?
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
They probably don't even know themselves at this point, to be fair.
They probably can comment. He wouldn't know. He'd be speaking probably out of turn, and we don't want to get you in a.
Well, it might be a case that they've mentioned it or they've not mentioned it, and it's just been something that slipped past. It's these little finite details, isn't it, that we don't always generally think of asking until it gets to the date, and then you're like, well, wait a minute. what does this mean? But I mean, the terrapin. Sorry, the terrapin.
Sherman asked the question again. So shall I say it again to you, Sherman? The question was, what if my microphone doesn't die? What is the actual end of March mean? Live for 3.1 or Eva Carti for 3.1 at end of March or Wave 1 PTU? I mean, stage?
Yeah, what are we getting?
What are we actually getting at the end of March?
I started talking about Star Citizen now. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, you're on to Star Citizen.
As soon as you go, it's weird.
As soon as the host went back on topic.
Back on track.
But I think Reclaimer there's a chance it could get pushed back, but I'm quite confident we'll get it. The Terrapin and the Razor and the Cyclone we've seen pretty much in the final stages now. Or maybe not the Razor, but the Terrapin and the Cyclone are in the final stages of the setup, which pretty much quite confident they're going to be in. The Razor we haven't seen since the ATV, but I think this next Thursday shipshape is Reclaimer shipshape, isn't it? Or did they just say we're going to hear about the Reclaimer in this next Thursday ATV?
Yeah, the Reclaimer is coming. I think they're going to do a feature on it sometime. There's a feature coming, whether it's this week or next week. There's definitely a feature.
It'll be like what they did last week or the week before, whatever it was, for the Terrapin. It'll be a more in-depth look at the stage that it's at. So hopefully that will give us an indication or more of an indication as to whether we'll get it. For actual patch deployment, couldn't say not involved. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, he's not involved in that area.
Yeah, that's fine.
Probably the end of March.
No, but
that's not the question.
That's not the question. Don't worry.
That's exactly.
What do you think will be dropped? Like Eva Carti at the end of March, or will it be live, or will it be PT? You know, will it be PTU Wave 1? Will it be PTU Wave 2? What's the actual target at the end of the month to have out the door? I would have thought live, but
I presume live, because they're doing like Evocati tests. But I suppose
I'll be surprised.
They're
going
to want live because that's kind of their promise. Although they didn't say
specifically.
They didn't specifically say that, so they could worm a way out of it. But I think that's the plan, is to be live. But they could get away with just saying it's now in PTU.
PTU, yeah, that's what I was thinking. They could get away with it.
I mean, to be fair, though, when it goes PTU, it doesn't. These days, they don't seem to keep it in PTU for too long unless there's major issues. So it depends. I mean, they've got so they've been doing economy or planning on economy tests and things. So I think I don't know.
For what is actually on the roadmap at the moment, what is everybody's favourite feature? I'm curious because I think for everybody it was bind culling. And it's a shame that we're not getting bind culling, but we are getting the other thing that I can never remember, the serialized variable something.
That's already there. That's kind of already here. They're just improving on.
Well, they wanted it for 3.0, but they didn't have enough time, I believe. So we're getting it 3.1. But I was actually looking at the character creator today, and I've never really been that bothered about the character creator. But actually, now I've realised that my hairstyle is in there. My haircut is in there. I'm actually quite excited. So, yeah, Matt Sherman, if we could get the two-tone blue and black colours, that'd be awesome. Thank you. I'll send you a Kinder Egg over the border. Mm.
Yeah, so
really good.
the character customization is looking really good. Obviously, it's like first iteration, so we're not going to be able to change too much. Is this well? Thing is, I would like more places where we could walk around as your character, I suppose, a bit more. Because at the moment, you feel like there's no much point taking your suit off or going into casual clothing, especially with outposts are very small. So by the time you've gone in there, you're kind of in and out in your spacesuit. Port Olisar, because the things aren't linked, you're kind of stuck around the little section. So I don't feel like there's a lot of places you can go. I suppose you could walk around like live.
Do you know what they need to do? They need to implement the Guardians of the Galaxy style protection suit, so you can wear your casual clothes and you just put that little hell mask on and it goes and enables all sorts of cool, wear long coats and just kind of cruise around. Do you know what I mean? You could have like you could with sci-fi tech and say, well, the suit, the jacket, and everything.
And he's on.
Yes,
agree. Exactly that. So I was thinking that what I'm surprised is that they
everybody get ready.
They had. Fire madness. I'm surprised that they had like a mohawk hair in there, because of like with clipping and everything, you just got to imagine you got like. But I'm glad that they've done this, because with everything else being like completely like realistic, they kind of they said like, the way same ways you can't be too fat because you're not going to be able to sit behind the wheel of the ship and stuff.
The wheel of a ship.
You know what I mean? Whereas, so it's nice that you still got all these funky hairstyles that it doesn't matter, they'll just magically cover them up when you stick your helmet on.
You're not going to be able to change height from what they were saying previously
not
as
too
well,
much.
which kind of makes
like
me
a slight variation.
Oh, is there going to be slight variations?
I think so, because the females aren't going to be exactly the same height as males. And
that's what I always wondered, because that would have been really weird.
You're saying tall females are weird?
Yes.
Sorry, females, but if you're tall, you're weird.
No, I really like I like the UI for it. It looks like it's quite clear what you're doing and what you're changing, and I like the fact that we've got. I mean, obviously, it's nowhere near going to be to the extent of what we'll have eventually, but as a starting point to make sure the tech works, everything looks fine. It's going to be nice to have, like you say, different people running around. Sorry, not like you say. The point that you did say, Miz, is there's nowhere to show off our faces. You go to Alevsky, you're either there for 10 minutes selling something, coming back again. Nobody ever changes out of their spacesuit. They stay in. I do. I actually like going there, but then when you get in the lift,
I always forget to put my helmet back on.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, next time I'm just keeping my spacesuit on. Yeah. Although this may encourage people to not wear a spacesuit as much, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping.
Madness, we lost where do we hear up to what Madness was saying? Because it did kind of cut out, and I don't know how long you were going on for.
Yeah, I was talking about Guardians of the Galaxy suit. That was what I was saying.
We heard that bit. Yeah.
Oh, I said a really cool thing. I said, justify the spacesuit, the leather jacket, by saying it's spacesuit material rather than, and it just looks like leather. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't. It's not actual leather. It's like a spacesuit material, just designed to look like casual clothes.
I think it would be really cool to have that sort of quick.
Yeah, I think.
But then all that work they've done on helmets, it's like,
it would be kind of a cool thing that you could have as a temporary, like a kind of temporary thing. So to walk out, like if you was on a place where you didn't have to go too far, you could sort of wear it to go between buildings or something. So it wouldn't be a long-term thing, but just like a short-term thing. I think that would be quite a good idea, like you said, so you wouldn't have to keep changing all the time just to go from A to B or out of a airlock to another section of the station or whatever.
Look really cool as well.
They do it with Avatar as well, didn't he? He does like the plastic mask, which
the rebreather or something, isn't it?
Over his head, and then he's when he's on a planet with an unbreathable atmosphere. So because
in space, obviously the whole of covering you up is because it's like minus whatever the hell, it's freezing cold. But on a planet, if the temperatures are all right, but there's no atmosphere to breathe, then it would make sense, like you say, maybe not having a full tank of oxygen, but something
just limited.
Maybe in your first aid kit.
In your hand.
Yeah.
Once that bit's run out, you're fucked.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be. I agree. I think it would. For me, I like having cool outfits and things like that. So I think being able to show them off more would be good.
To be fair, some of the stuff they showed off, I think it was an ATV this week, however short that was, were actually really cool.
Yeah,
I really liked the ripped shirt thingy. That was nice. Yeah. I'm wondering if you can take off the underlayers.
Like, the legacy armor and stuff, wasn't it? So we've got this, which was like the legacy armor and things. And it was actually some of the outfits that they got on there looked really good, and also some of the actual legacy armor looked. I thought they were coming along quite well with that as well.
Yeah, they're looking really, really nice now. They're actually getting to the point where, because I can see why they do this. Otherwise, you can you look at an old freelancer to a new freelancer. It's just night and day. So the clothing will be the same, and if you're getting up close and personal to these clothing, not that I would be personal with a clothing item, maybe. We've all been there with a sock, but it's like having these items updated keeps that standard, which is important.
What type of sock are we talking about? Sports sock? Or
more of a football sock that could like knee length.
Knee length sock.
It's not long enough. I've never found a sock long enough.
Stockings.
Take my stockings.
No, God.
No, there.
Oh, put a couple ladders in them, washing them.
The only ones that work.
So bad.
Wow.
I don't like this Maya. I've never used Maya, but when you look at this and you think it's all fuzzy unless they leave it for 5 minutes to just settle.
Yeah.
What a shit bit of software that is.
Well, there's probably a reason for that, I'm sure.
The alternative would be to not see it in real time and therefore have to press the render button and then wait 10 minutes.
I'm going to invent Maya without that fuzziness, and then I'll make a fortune.
Well done, Ryan. We're proud of you.
Coming from someone that doesn't actually manage to get his bot working most of the time, good luck with this one.
That's why I'm optimistic about it. I don't know the reality.
Actually, did you see that? Did you, Spiz? Do you see that picture of the Outland armor podcast? If you look at the top, there's something. Where is it? Oh my God, light swords right at the top.
Oh yeah.
Did a little It's a picture that someone's done, which just is really cool.
Where's that?
Let me have a look.
Right on the top of the very first thing on the document. It says, "Oh my God, yes," and a light sword, please.
Okay. Well, what have they done? You do realise that that's just Star Wars: The Old Republic, and they've stuck a Star Citizen logo on there. Oh, Citizen logo on there.
No,
Citizen.
No, the face. Look at the face. Look at the armor.
Is that Star Citizen armor?
That's the mask. That's the Outlander mask, isn't it?
From what we're showing on screen.
From what you're showing on stream now, yeah. What you were showing, yeah.
What was
could be. Do you know there are actually armor helmets that have
it
that
is.
sort of
This
dead
one.
space
Oops.
thing?
Oh yeah. I love
I've-
that. The dead space.
I've seen that
could
a
be.
while ago. There was like an
See
image
the
of
pipes?
an armor.
It's got the Bane pipes at the front.
Bane.
It's the light. It's the light one. Someone's done it.
Bane
It looks wicked. It looks wicked, and I'm just looking at it, going, I really now for that mask. I'm like, he's got the little heads to have full robes. Do you know what I mean? It looked really cool.
Well, I think that's what they're kind of saying in there. They've got that little robe bit on the back, a little cloak thing on the back. But we did say that they're working on like the whole layer system as well, so having the different layers to go over the top. So you could, it'd be nice if you could do that, have the armor and then have like a robe layer over the top.
Yeah, I mean you can get that in now, can't you? When you go to Levski, or is it Levski or Grim Hex? I think where they have that floaty cloth thing.
That's built into the armor though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Because they said that you're not going to be able to have a. I think they did say you're not going to have that over the top, but it would be cool if you could. But I think there was a reason because of the clipping, and whereas if they make it attached to the actual armor, they can animate it for that piece of armor.
This is something. Sorry, this is about clipping and clothes clipping, and then this whole point about the characters leaning with different armor types they're not touching or going through. This like the difference that CIG go to when it comes to detail. Like you look at a game like Kingdom Come or any other AAA game like Fallout or whatever, you can see the clipping of the clothing. You can see underlayers coming out.
I hate
and
that.
that's it annoys the shit out of me. And that's from a game that's been released. It's got a good like reputation to it, and yet Star Citizen are going to the effort of actually making sure that it looks that you don't see that. Now that's just.
I guarantee it, Mac. The other studios try their best to avoid clipping as well.
Oh, of course they do. But
it's
they still
really
release
apparent in Kingdom Come.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's really bad. Yeah.
I think
just
it's
like
also it's because they want to have a certain look and they haven't gone through to the technology to be able to hide that, or they've allowed you to try everything on. Whereas that is one of the things with Star Citizen will be restricted in what we can, like I said, put together or something, because they're meticulously making it so that everything can be kind of cross-matched, so that it would fit
it's
and
more
you won't
just
get
time.
Yeah,
Star Citizen, no, they've got the time because they've said there's no time limit on the game. It's ready when it's ready. This is it's hopefully it'll prove if there's enough time, enough money, this is what can be achieved, and that's pretty much the scope that they're going for from the beginning.
Yeah.
I would, to test your theory, Mac, go get the long cloak that you can get, the leather one, at Levski, and go bring your camera into third-person view and watch his feet as he runs. He kicks through his feet at the heels, run through his cloak.
The game's an alpha.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
I'm just
actually-
saying
that tech isn't in at the moment, is it? I don't think.
Yeah,
Just saying,
yeah,
it's really hard.
Of course, it does it now.
Really hard.
It does it
It's
now,
really
but
hard.
it's not going to do it in the final game. Whereas Fallout
Well,
thingy, they're all final games.
I reckon it probably
I-
will do it, but not like to the degree that it is at the moment.
Yeah, it'll get better. I
It'll
agree. I hear
never
what
be
you're saying.
perfect.
I hear what you're saying. Actually, if you go to the doc, Ms, there's a thing called Diversity Armor Suit that I've linked. It's a picture, and this is because we're talking about armor, and this just shows you a picture of the gaffer tape suit. I don't know if you guys have
The
seen
ship
this.
jacket.
Yeah,
The
with all the
shipjacker
gaffer
stuff.
tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never crossed my mind that the shipjacker armor suit would need an undersuit, and that's what that is, isn't it? It's the shipjacker that Jay Lee created with the horns and things. They're like an armor suit, and this is the undersuit for it. Like we have the RSI undersuits and things. It's really
Where
cool.
is it, Doc? What am I looking for?
It's called Diversity Armor Type.
It's just before the bold, so I own a capital ship. Bold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just there. And it's really cool. I was like looking at it, going, "Oh wow, that's awesome."
So that's like
Gaffer tape,
equivalent to what
900
like our
years.
RSI site suits and that we've been wearing, them like skin tight things.
Yeah, I like it to look. I like dirty and messy and broken and
It
worn
looks like
in,
someone's
and I
chucked a
love
load of
mixing
acid
it.
at him actually. But...
Yeah, I love all that stuff. I think that's great. It really
that-
just because then you can mix it and blend it, and
Yeah.
really cool.
The
Really cool.
undersuits are obviously one of those things that you'll need if you're going to it's the bare minimum to go into space. It's an undersuit.
Yeah.
But I hope to see like a shipjacker-esque sort of clothing style, like casual clothing, that sort of thing, rather than just spacesuits and armor. having it like a jacket that's like a ship jacket and those combat pants, even though
because they've got to have casual time as well, right? They can't just always be shipjacking.
Yeah, shipjackets have casual time. Yeah.
I wonder if the suits will degrade and damage like the ships.
I think I know they said the armor will. The armor will. It won't be like you won't see bullet holes and things, but you'll see over time degradation and age and wear and tear. So yeah, the ships, the weapons, the clothing.
Age to it.
And clothing will as well. Yeah, because over time, if you have a t-shirt, it'll start getting up. But it won't be like physically based like the ships. So you won't get like if you get shot, you won't see holes in everywhere. It'll just have a degradation sort of slider in the way.
It's like they were with the Outpost, so you slide it along and it shows you from mint clean to grubby and dirty, so your clothes will have the same sort of slider. But what happens if you jump in the shower with your clothes on?
You don't think it'll be like the ships where if you get shot on the wing, for example, like if you
they've said it's too hard with armor to show like a bullet hole and have that persist in the same area because of the way the armor is so. Okay. They have addressed this a while back where they said it's just too hard to have it like physically based, but you will see like it will age over time.
You never know. They might crack it. They might crack it.
Yeah, that's true. You know that all the stuff they talk about, they may find something along the lines.
So just carry some gaffer tape, so if you get holes in your arm, you can just.
But for now, they can't do it. But they do. They will wear and tear it. That's really good to know.
Yeah, it's gonna look cool. You'd be like, that's my jacket because I had that fucking.
I know because I burnt a hole in it.
Yeah. Dropped a fag on my crotch.
Well done. Wait, what? Sorry, I was concentrating on this. I posted the link in chat. There we go. Finally did it.
Oh, yeah.
That took ages. That took ages. Oh my god, it took like half the podcast. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm here now. You have my full attention.
Noodle is with us.
Thank you, Moist Noodle, for doing. You need to update the giveaway at the stream now. Is to say,
Vulcan
giveaway.
Yes.
That'll get at least 20 or 30.
I'm not following that middle guy, miserable dealer. Fuck that. That ain't worth for Vulcan.
I'm going to eat my little onions now.
Are we allowed to enter our own giveaway by any chance? Is that possible?
Now you say.
Now I said it. I don't actually have it. Right. Where were we?
We were talking about the armor. So that so the shipjacker thing said they're working on the undersuit mostly at the moment. Did I say when that was? There's no date-ish for that one either.
The sooner the better. The stuff.
There was quite a lot of talk about 3.2, even though we haven't got 3.1 yet, which is.
I don't know about you guys. When they drop in the customization character stuff, I hope they don't wait for like the quarterly patches. And if they've got stuff ready, like cool armor, bits and bobs to keep it going, they just drop it as and when it's ready. I would like them to do that personally.
Yeah, I would. I don't know, because they did one of the questions on the RTV that was actually any interest was, do we see everything that's coming into the patch listed on the roadmap? And we don't. So smaller things like potentially clothing, maybe even going into attachments for weapons, not yet until it's ready, but armor, clothing, things like that. Maybe we'll see them, like different components, different branded components and things. Maybe we'll see them come in smaller patches.
Skins, colours.
Yeah,
skins.
That's what I was going to say, because on the thing I put where they said that they're working on a load of Port Olisar clothing and that sort of thing. Like, do you think that's something that we're only going to get every time there's a major patch, or do you think this is the sort of thing that they could kind of, when it's ready, just slip it into the build, or do you think we're going to have to wait each time for like the extra outfits and stuff?
What was that? Are you talking to us there, Moist Noodle?
Sorry, I was just nothing. I was just thinking about slipping it in. That's all. Sorry, what's the question? What's the question?
Slip it in there.
Do you think they'll slip it in in between builds?
Yeah, I really hope they do, but I
don't think they will.
I agree. I don't think I think they'll wait for each,
because they're not going to create a separate development branch just to pop in something small.
I I don't. I was just curious, like how hard it would be, because like I said, I mean, with the Delta patcher, and I'm just moving past the slipping in thing. The Delta patcher, you know, when I think of like PUBG and stuff, they drop in things all the time. So I'm just curious why they couldn't for small things.
Do they have such a big development team though?
Which one?
Whichever game that you run about. PUBG.
What, in terms of the size of the team? No.
Do they have like multiple studios and stuff? Because that's, I think, I'm not an expert, but I'm wondering if that's why.
Yeah, probably.
I'm
Because of
an
the way that they
expert.
do the builds. Okay.
Probably. It would be cool if they could, but it's fine. At the end of the day, if you have to wait quarterly, then that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you can't really compare the two because it's like, and also PUBG don't really have I don't know if they have like a roadmap like cameras.
I try not to compare, but I'm just curious. Like they do, and you know they do. It's the only that's one that gets constant updates. I get constant updates on Steam and like other games as well. It's just that's just a reference.
Yeah, it's the way that they put the builds together internally. If it's just one office, I guess, or one studio, it's not quite so bad. When it's multiple studios, I don't know. I've never worked in development, so I'm an idiot.
I just at the end of the day, your reasons makes a lot of sense, to be honest. And quarterly is not that bad, really. So it's okay. Yeah. What else, Miz? Do you want to?
So someone's just saying the basic functionality is not in there for them to just drop that sort of content in, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
It was just just wondering what people thought. I mean, personally, it'd be nice if you could see them sort of smaller things being dropped in and added, but obviously, if it's going to create more issues and bugs and things like that, then it's not a good thing to do, I suppose. Just be nice.
I mean, we've had hot fixes, haven't we? But I guess new content isn't classed as hot fixes.
Yeah, hot fixes are different. Yeah, that's it. By adding stuff is new content, which could potentially break things. So I suppose that less.
A hot fix is a fix.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if I do scream like a little girl and desk, it's because I did spot a massive spider. Because when they tear up kitchens, I did spot one earlier, and I'm literally sat right next to where I last saw it. So.
They're all coming out of the woodwork.
If I'm looking around a little bit, it's because I am genuinely not a fan of spiders. And it's getting nighttime, and it's when they like to come out, right?
Yes.
Are spiders nocturnal? I don't.
We only come out at night.
They tend to come out at night.
In your dreams.
They always tend to come out at night. And that's pretty much when they.
Yeah. So one of the other things that they talked about in ATV was the face rigging of the aliens. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. I'm so excited.
Looking forward to that. Yeah. So does that mean that we might potentially be seeing aliens soon? Like, rigged and set up, or at least some previews of them being animated?
Will be the first time we probably see a proper alien, like a bipedal alien. We may. I don't know if we're going to see Squadron 42 before we see those little critter things flying around. But those critter things don't need facial rigging, whereas the Vandal do, and it's so clever that they've managed to get it in so that the face moves with the actual, the actor, because it's the PCAP that makes the AI, the NPCs, or the Squadron 42 characters look really good. So
do you guys play Destiny 2 out of interest?
Yes.
The main bad guy from that didn't really have lips, so it looked like he was talking like this all that time, which was really weird. So I'm hoping they don't do the same thing with our alien friends in Star Citizen. I hope they give them lips so they don't look weird.
Facial, I find, even with the rigging that they've been doing now, and I know we're not at final polish, so it'd be interesting to see how well they get it, but there's something about, no matter how well they seem to do the rigging and the character animation, that when you watch back a video game, that they do, the detail looks amazing, but the lip syncing and facial expression still never seems to feel like right. It doesn't look good. So like if you see like them not talking, it almost looks like it's a real person, or you could be literally looking at a real person, and then they talk, and the lips just don't. I don't know. I don't think I've seen an animated thing where I feel like you can believe it's real life, because it's not. It doesn't match that well.
Toy Story did quite good. Yeah.
Which you mean in terms of like
not really
film or games? Film
either.
Yeah, no, it's the one thing. Like when you watch the old Final Fantasy film, the animated one, it kind of it didn't look. There was like everything looks good until
General Tarkov. General Tarkov was fucking good in new Star Wars.
General Tarkov.
Not Tarkov, sorry. Well, no, not General Tarkov. What am I talking about? The what's the bad guy?
Who is played?
The British guy.
Kylo Ren.
Oh,
no, you know the general.
That guy,
the
you know the one who stood in the glass.
Hang on, I'll find him.
Tarkin.
Tarkov. Wrong. Yeah, that's the one.
I haven't seen
Tarkov. That's the guy.
So I don't know. But
that one.
It's just like I was saying, that you get this awesome like 3D rendering and everything else, and that like we've seen these facial scans, but I've just
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Not really
the reason he was so good though is because it wasn't a face capture, was it? It was literally an actor's face that they superimposed a 3D render onto, I believe.
They used his son. I thought they used his son or his grandson.
Gollum's son.
It was an actor that looked very, very similar to him.
That's a twist in the story.
Gollum, played by Andy Serkis, who's in Squadron 42.
Do you know what? I realized like I need to drink more on this podcast. I've forgotten why.
Oh shit!
More Schler.
I need to get more
sober.
Time to get drunk.
This is such a weird podcast tonight.
Well, I'm just saying that like Star Citizen has gone really well into the detail of the face, and with this mocap, and we've seen people's scans and facial. I just hope that it goes all the way through into game, and it actually looks like realistic rather than you can tell it's an animated character. Something
that I know. I mean, I 100% agree with that. I think the one thing that really stands out.
Just see it go for his neck in a minute.
Suddenly Moist is just bleeding on the floor. What's his address?
Have you seen the new Blade Runner, Miz? Have you seen the new Blade Runner?
I'm watching it this week, I think.
I've started watching that.
There's a scene in the new Blade Runner, which will be relevant to what we talked about. When that comes up, you'll be able to.
Okay,
when you've seen it, you can let me know.
Is it in the beginning of the film?
No.
I really enjoyed that movie personally. So much so I bought it on Amazon and on YouTube.
Well, we rented it and started watching it like the night before, and Rachel got bored because she didn't like Ryan Gosling. So that I'll watch it later. And I think today it runs out.
Is Ryan Gosling in that movie?
I mean, personally, I've watched the first one amazing, and I watched the new one, and the new one was amazing as well. So they were both stunning films.
I hated the old one.
Confession time. I hated the old
one.
Wait,
you hated the old one? That's my favoriteest movie.
It's just, I think it's just too like when Harrison Ford does his face.
you came to it too late, is what you're saying. It's
I think because I wasn't in. I didn't watch it when it was released, so I was just like, at the end of it, I was like.
Yeah, you kind of get that like now with games, isn't it? So if we go back and play a game that we played like 10, 15 years ago, for us it's a nostalgia trip. Oh, this is amazing. And then you get other people come look at it and go, what the fuck are you playing?
Whenever I play the Blade Runner game, it's never what it was.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. It's just, it was of the era. And everyone hyped it up so much. It was like, you've got to watch it. You've got to enjoy it. It's going to be brilliant. And I watched it. There were parts that I liked, but I think it was just too cliched of that era. That I was just like, I don't get the hype.
All right.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
I had it on VHS. Those were the days. You know, when you press pause and the video was like...
Yeah.
So the Asylum will be advertised. You team. We looking for auditions, casts. Will be going out very soon. People that like Blade Runner and have taste.
We want to replace.
Clearly, he's all fake. He's like one of those fake emo kids at school. He thinks they're goth. Oh, those fake goth people. They just get stressed up to go out with a girl.
Look at his face. Even hurts himself.
Yeah. It's not really real.
Yeah, I'm with Des. You're allowed your opinion.
You like me now?
Your opinion, Mac, even if it's wrong.
You're completely entitled to be incorrect. It's fine.
Welcome to my world. That's pretty much where I live when it comes to Star Citizen. Right.
Yeah, not.
Where were we?
I just put my volume down. Not many people agreed with you on the captain's table the other day. I noticed, Madness, you were kind of there on your pedestal on your own.
Well, that's because that's not. I mean, most people don't. Well, they kind of they agree to a degree, but then they don't really want to say it because obviously it puts them in a precarious situation. Whereas I'm quite happy to be the one championing the cause, really, because I think it's a good cause. People know. If you haven't heard the cause, it's very simple. Give ships.
Have you heard the word?
If you haven't heard the word, Star CIG should be giving ships that are relevant to patches.
Oh no, what have I done? I'm sorry, everybody.
That's it. It's that simple. Until the game is got ships that we can buy in game, they should give us ships relevant to patches. So when mining's in, Prospector. When salvage is in, they should give us a salvage vehicle, etc., etc.
See,
while we're testing,
we are testing the game. We are backers and we are developers developing and helping develop the game in some form. Some people are, some people aren't, but we're all part of that process. When the game goes to beta and when it goes to live, for me, in my opinion, at that point, then you're allowed to what you've paid for. Yes, what you've in terms of your free ship. So yeah,
I think they're actually planning to do that now, where the roadmap. What determines going in the roadmap is what's kind of relevant to the patch and what's coming down the line in terms of gameplay as well. But I do feel like putting a ship in because it's ready is a good idea, because it gives us a chance to find any bugs, any issues with it, and gets it more streamlined for the time when the gameplay is ready. It's not necessary to put it in early. Obviously, like, it would make more sense for the Starfarer to have been held off or not even worked on and focused on something else until the refueling mechanic was ready. It is logical, definitely logical. So I agree with you there. But I think if a ship's ready, get it in whenever it's ready so that we can test it, you know?
So Nye says like charging for getting them in the game without charging those players extra. You've already paid the equivalent of a normal game package that you pay for a normal game. That's $50 or whatever it is. You've already paid the normal price, and most people have paid well above that. And I don't think, honestly, I just don't see the problem. I think we are backing the game. We're not buying ships technically. If anyone, that's why I always get thrown in my face. So if CIG are dead serious about that, then they should give us the ships that are relevant to the patches to help improve the game.
There's not an awful lot to do in the game at the moment, and we keep being reminded that we're testing right now. So give us the stuff to test. This is where I actually agree with Madness.
Doesn't make sense. It goes against what they're talking about.
The world collapses in on itself. Right. Well, now you've had your little soapbook, man. We'll move on from that again. We have a question from Evis, and he says that it's about the alien thing, so I'll bring it up now. Moist asked if you all thought they would get the facial animations right. I think I asked that, but I don't know. I'm wondering how they are going to do the sounds when alien races talk. Will they speak in a way totally unrecognizable to humans and revoiced via mechanical device? What kind of sounds do you expect to hear when aliens speak? Hisses and pops, etc.
Good question.
That is a good question, actually.
So it's like, I suppose you've got like in Star Trek when the Klingons speak Klingon and then you have subtitles.
Because they actually have the guy who is teaching the actors on the new Star Trek, and he's the guy that was teaching the actors for Squadron 42. The alien languages, right? Or he's the guy creating the alien languages.
Yeah, Britton Watkins.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Britton Watkins.
Yeah.
So
we know
it'll be interesting to see if we see
language.
something like the Universal Translator.
It's where I would presume that they're going to speak
Babblefish.
in Shan.
That's the whole point of learning the languages, isn't it? So you actually have.
But would we have?
On the race.
But
Banu won't. Banu will speak in the trade language. I reckon they'll learn your language and talk to you in your language, or have a translator.
That's true. I mean, they have more invested reason to learn our language in terms of everything.
I think you might have a bit of both, and like you said, it might depend on the interaction with the human race. So Vandal, they might not speak our tongue at all because they're more likely to fight us and everything. Whereas the others, you might have some that would speak. How can you have a spy Vandal? Well, he's not a Vandal. He's just a very tall human
with a deep voice.
How else
so
would they know our
I
language?
think
They need to learn a language, right?
they're going to speak. The Vandal will trade with the Banu, so they can learn and talk that way, but like via proxy, I suppose. But they're not going to necessarily.
I'm not
talk
expecting
to
a
us.
Vandal to walk down the street, but I'm just saying they'll be able to, pick up a language out of communication.
But would they want to? Like the majority of Klingons,
Yeah.
when you see in Star Trek, mostly they speak Klingon, and then you have the ones that work from Starfleet who then speak English or, common.
Again, I mean, the latest discovery, there's, I don't want to do any spoilers, but there's an interesting bit in that concept in that to do with Klingons and humans and stuff, which is kind of cool. And they used to say you couldn't do kind of like, technology that makes you be a Vandal, but you can, hologram yourself or something to make you appear something else, like an 8-foot Banu, but you're actually a Vandal.
I mean, they could do, but I guess it's more of a case of like
Spies. You want information as knowledge and power. Yeah, I'm sure they'd have spies somewhere. Or
they would probably use a human as a spy if anything. They would capture the human and they would sort of
Probably,
force them into it. They wouldn't try and put on a disguise.
hello.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it would be very much.
This one where it was like, cut out with the eyes cut out of like a picture.
like E.T.
Like,
Streaming around.
We'll find someone
Halloween.
else, mate. Thanks, though.
Just Halloween style. Every time Halloween comes along.
Okay,
that's when
so
they do that.
he's saying that the question was more based on the fact that would the alien species physically be able to speak our language, whereas I suppose, well, because of whether they can pronounce and perform the words, with the shape of their mouths and things like that. Now, I think CIG did say, at least with the races that we know at the moment, that's part of the reason why they're making them more humanoid, and especially with the Xian language, he did say that he had to make sure that the words were something that face could actually physically say.
It's going to be like in Fallout. Who's that super mutant that you can have as a friend? Who? Crow.
The one that, yeah, is that what he's?
Yeah, you could be right there. I want to say Swan, but that's that stupid big thing in the pack. But I won't spoil anything. But it's going to be a case of if the Vandal do ever learn to speak English, it won't be like to a fluent understanding. It'll be more like
guttural sort.
I will kill you.
You need to do D&D, man. It's that I'm not mad. It's Mac. that impression was brilliant.
Very good. Perfect.
Well,
You're already in. But
I
also
thought Vandal was in the room, to be honest.
They do have bioluminescence.
yeah, bioluminescence. You see that glowing underneath?
Glowing.
The
So it glows red. It's like,
why are you glowing? I'm fine. I be crew.
I'm Groot.
Sorry, you cut out then, Madness. I heard if I glow red.
I was just saying if he glows red,
Cut out again at the same point.
and he glows red,
How does that work?
you're in trouble.
Okay, yeah.
Shit, get out of there. We're just gritting and just biting the pillow and getting through it. That's all that's happening right
It's
now.
literally that point. Like, do we tell him or do we just move on and pretend like
Just
nothing's
move
happened? Yeah.
Just move on.
So anyway,
I'm biting
thanks for the question. Yeah, I think it's hard. I think they're going to be able to say it within a certain degree. They could probably speak the language. I think certain ones, I think depending on how much contact they have with the humans, would differentiate how much they maybe speak the language as well. So I think definitely Vandal, in my opinion, would be unlikely to hear them speak English or Common or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you've got to reverse the roles. Like, will we be able to speak Vandal? They're not going to release to us, and they've said they're not going to release to us a Vandal dialect to learn because we don't know much about their culture. The only reason we know how to speak Xian is because they've had this Xian human trade initiative. They've gone to the effort of putting it together for us to learn so that we can have that group chat or whatever you call it. The Vandal don't do that. The Vandal don't want to do that. So you may pick up certain words based on what we may be taught or told or learn, but we won't be able to speak their language. And if they can speak our language, it'll be very slight words at all.
Yeah, so we'll have to be in the middle of the room.
Caw, caw, caw.
and see if they answer.
Tucky.
Oh, I love that show. I love that show. That's great.
I came back at a great moment.
And that's it. Fine. Goodbye, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, thanks for that question. That's good. I don't know if we've got no others at the moment.
No questions yet. Yeah, but like I say, in chat, if you want to ask a question, ask us thing, and we will go through it as we go along.
Black Brick Studios did ask if there's any news about when ship purchasing will come in.
Thursday.
Now they originally said in game 3.1 after being corrected for 3.0, and then they said 3.2, and then now it's off the roadmap and completely vanished into oblivion. So it will be done when it's done type of thing. So this is what I mean about the carrot dangling. They can't keep just dangling the carrot in front of us and pretending. If you're not going to give us the ships, then give us the free ability to test the ships in game, because we're testing. Just that's my whole thing. You can't just keep pretending. Eventually, it's just you're lying.
Yeah, it's all about the accent, Des. Right, so what else was there you wanted to discuss on here? You put we need some merch, man. What's that?
It's all about the dangles, right?
What are you trying to show with that watch? Oh, someone's put a Star Citizen in the watch. Well, why are they advertising the Nintendo Switch for that?
Haven't you? Star Citizen's going to be on the Nintendo Wii, didn't you know?
Nintendo. Star
Actually,
Citizen
do you
coming
know
to
what?
a watch near you.
Do you know what? This got me thinking about this. I was thinking, would there be any harm in Star Citizen giving Star Marine and Arena Commander to a console?
I've thought about this. I think it's a good idea, personally.
If they could do it, then definitely.
I don't see why not.
Do it, yeah.
There's like a standalone game.
That USB isn't plugged into the watch, is it?
No, it's just tucked underneath it. I don't really know.
Okay.
I know that I didn't put this on. I think this is one of Madness's editions.
Oh, you're on about the watch? Yeah.
I don't know what you. I don't really understand. I know he's got Star Citizen logo on the watch, but the rest of it is totally irrelevant. The USB
How do they
is
get
not actually
that
plugged
working?
in.
That's insane.
Oh, this was me talking about merchandise. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is the point of this post?
Watch battery, that is.
let me just
That's
bring
how he
up
plays
just to
Star
remind
Citizen. Is
myself.
using the Nintendo Switch to control the watch. It's like,
How can you do that though? You're like, I can't all do the joystick. This is
I think
shit.
that the main thing for me is again to do with like external kind of technology to use to bring kind of like physical tactile properties to the game, because we already have joysticks and mouses and keyboards and things like that. And I'm just thinking they already have like the Moby Glass is a thing that goes
a real
around.
Moby Glass.
Yeah, why not?
Well, with augmented reality, could you do that? Just put your
Yeah, I mean, like
glasses
with
on, you could have a Moby Glass.
I'm just like, it would be kind of cool, like to be able to do. Imagine you could do face over cam, into it. You could do FOIP with your glass.
Actual face. Yeah.
Actual, bring your arm up.
We've got actual face.
Get your map and then be clipping and spinning.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out.
No, zoomed in way too
Like,
far.
oh shit! I got a light. So hang on. Oh crap! That's not where I want to go. No, it was a cool
Slideshow madness.
slideshow.
I feel like I'm in 1997 again.
Actually, this was because we're talking about aliens. Actually, Miz, there's two underneath it says about the fear factor with Subnautica. Now, this is a cool little GIF about an alien, kind of like.
Kind of what?
Subnautica.
Fucking gone.
I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I've got the GIF.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah.
You can see me and hear me. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Oh.
I'm
loving this conversation.
What he's trying to say is the fear factor of Subnautica.
Fear factor.
Go for it. Keep going.
That looks like fucking madness. I don't know what's going on with you. That looks like, what's that Vin Diesel film before it became big? Pitch Black,
Pitch Black, yeah.
where he sort of grabs them and sort of looks clear, that sort of thing.
I think he's trying to say that Star Citizen has the potential to be scarier than Subnautica. I mean, not everybody finds Subnautica scary for a start, but I know what he means. It's kind of when you're in. So I think part of the fear factor of Subnautica is being deep in the ocean and like it triggers things in your mind if you imagined actually being that deep and then something goes wrong and you're totally fucked and there's nothing
Star
you can
Citizen
do.
has the potential to be. Madness is actually. Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's
Hey.
back.
Subnautica has this. Star Citizen has the potential to be
My bad.
a super scary game, like to the level of Dead Space. But
Like on one aspect, like 1 minute it feels in my head it's going to be like Alien Isolation, and the next minute it's going to be like not Alien Isolation.
well, the thing is, it's like it's many games in one, and the idea of
Yeah.
having an alien on board a big ship that is literally a game level in itself is so scary. Like if you turn a corridor down on one
I don't
of
know
the
about
big
you,
ships,
but having
that's-
one on a small ship would shit me up. You're sitting in the
Yeah.
pilot seat,
Get out
look
your
around,
Aurora
there's no
scene.
escape at all. Oh my god! It's just
Hello, Dave.
in your Aurora bed.
You're my wife now, Dave.
But I think I am so excited. Like I said before, when we get a ship that's big enough, I want someone to capture an alien and just throw it on board my ship with my crew of like 3 or 4, and we have to try and find it, kill it, or it has to try and kill us, whatever, depending on the alien. You know.
See, Matt Sherman says, while those kinds of horror gameplay things are cool at high level, making the
such
kind of
a hype
content
killer.
well is a huge production burden. But here's the thing, if we know that it's in the game, if I'm in my ship and I'm hearing creaking and just like
Yeah.
You
little
don't need to
scuttling
do it a lot,
sounds,
it just
I'll be
needs to
shitting
be
myself.
some.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't
No,
take much.
I think it will naturally evolve that way anyway. I don't think it will take a lot of fine tuning to get the sound. The sound's good, the visuals are good, the audio, the lighting's good. Everything is already set up. Like the sort of gameplay we see already is.
We've got Kovalex
High
is a
level.
good example of that. Like
Yeah.
when we first went
Yeah,
in there, and
actually.
you have to EVA in, and then you go to one of those data pads, and then you start hearing it over the tannoid thing. Like that was pretty creepy. If that everyone when they first did that was expecting something to jump out of them.
Yeah, if they put an
you
alien
literally
in
just
there.
needed to add an alien in there, and you probably would have shit yourself. And so yeah, you don't need it on every single wreck or anything else. But like you said, I think it's part of the fear factor is knowing that it's possible that it can happen. And so if you go to one and you happen to have had that event happen to you, you're never going to go to another wreck the same without thinking, shit, is there going to
Without
be an
an
alien
army.
around this corner? Yeah, is there going to be something
Seriously,
around this
guys,
corner?
it was scary. It was scary. Come with me.
Everyone else is going, yeah, whatever, mate.
Yeah, okay.
Not seen
So-
one of them.
So Nye asked a question, Miz. I don't know if you've put it into or not, but he just says about if we're on gas planets, will we be, if we're doing mining and stuff like that, or gas atmospheres, there'll be creatures that could take us out, like Leviathan and
No,
stuff.
I don't know. We've seen the space whale being developed. I don't know, but that's not guaranteed to be in, is it?
No, but I love the idea of having things that. So I think they're trying to make mining and this type of stuff very dangerous. So that might be in itself still quite precarious. Do you know what I mean? Without having to have creatures trying to take you out, but it would be cool, in my opinion, to have that. Like in Star Wars, asteroid and there was mouth of. That was pretty sweet.
We'll agree with you. We didn't hear it.
Didn't
But
hear
we
it.
agree.
Oh,
Yes.
type. I'm just going to type. I'm just typing.
Thanks, mate.
We saw all the hand movement and it looked really epic, but
And it's come down.
You turned into Chris Roberts for a second.
yeah.
Fuck.
That was
Star Wars
pretty
creature,
bad.
cave, asteroid.
Right, we get yeah,
Okay.
the big teethy thing. Yeah.
Anyway,
That was
Carry
nice.
on.
Oh, I thought we were going to do the rest of the podcast with hand signals instead. Go for it.
I like. How
I feel like
Monty
we need-
just literally started hosting.
Awkward. You noticed. Look, I retweeted. Okay, at the beginning of the podcast. That's something.
All that they require.
Can we have like one of those hand language people, sign language people in the bottom? And we're going to need one for British and one for American, aren't we?
Yeah.
For when the word like colour comes up.
What's special about the word colour?
Don't be racist.
Aluminium.
Whoa,
Wow.
sorry.
Fell straight into that. What else do we have? Oh, actually, what are your guys' thoughts on ship duties and roles, like scanning and gunning and processing, or because we're talking about mining, engineering?
I just want to be a cabin boy.
masturbates, yeah?
Roger, actually.
Roger.
Roger. What do you mean? What do we like them?
Roger
Do
the
we want to
cabin
leave them? What is your question?
Commander's
other than
got
what
it.
do we
Hey,
think?
I know, I got it.
He's not.
I know
It
the
wasn't
show.
delayed. Honestly, it's just his connection. He got it straight away. Oh,
So
wow.
when we talk about roles, as in what aspect, like captain versus helmsman versus gunner?
I'm saying, are you asking us if we'd like that, or I don't know what your question is.
Yeah.
Other than what do we think?
No,
of
my
roles?
question is like,
Bacon roll.
what's your thoughts? Like, what would you like to do? Something like, is there any particular roles that kind of like recently
For the
stood out
love-
and you've gone, oh, that's exciting. That's a new role that I didn't think about, or is it still maintains the same? Always
For the
been
love
same?
of God, don't ever let me be a captain because I make really bad decisions.
Everybody's
I
trim.
think I'm a great pilot, so that's what everyone's going to employ me for. No, I don't know. Actually, it's a good point. It's like a different role that I would rather play. See, if turrets get improved, I think being a turret gunner could be good fun. Although, actually, I think being like one of the engineers that runs around and tries to fix things as you're getting shot at would be pretty cool.
The engineering's definitely one. I think after hearing about the Vulcan, the idea, like, it may not be all about the different crew things, but we've got drone operator, turret gunner, and pilot. But obviously, if you're going to repair someone's ship, you could need to go inside the ship, and they did say that drones won't go inside. So having an internal repairman who is just an extra crew member to go inside and start swapping out components has not really been sort of brought as a crew. It's like a 3-man crew, but there are 4 beds, and you cannot repair the internal components using drones. So being a repairman on the Vulcan to me would be really fun. Just messing with the things and chilling in the back with a coffee.
The Vulcan, it sounds to me like it's actually got more appeal. The more I've heard about it than when I first thought. I mean, I know it goes against what they kind of said with the multi-role, but other than that, I'm quite liking the sound of it and the design of it. At least the internal layout, I actually quite like, and I do. That's what the back part with the living quarters and stuff is what I've wanted for ages in the ship. So I like how that's done, and I hope we see more ships going down that route a little bit, just to give it a little bit more social atmosphere within the ship, rather than just you all sitting in your station and that's it. You want a place that you don't necessarily have to go and seats that aren't just captain seats and a terminal where you've got to repair stuff or do your shields. It would be nice to just have something where you can socialise, especially if you are going to have these longer journeys or different things to do. Like you said, if someone's repairing or something, or even if you set your drones to repair another ship, you've then got nothing else to do while you wait. So it'd be kind of nice to have a social area in that. So yeah, the Vulcan, and I hope we get things like that. Do you think we're going to get more multi-task ships?
I think in the sense of it being a multitask ship, it's kind of more like the AA. It's not like a you can't repair ships like you can with a Crucible. You can't refuel ships like you can with a Starfarer. It's not like you're having a Starfarer Crucible all in one. You can only do a little bit of the main thing. Like, you can't refuel it completely. You can't repair it completely. It's more of just, I've broken down. Can you send someone to just come and fix me up enough to get me out? So it's not like a full roll ship. They're sort of like percentage rolls. And to answer Nye's question about why drones can't go inside, it's because I think they said drones
Too
just
big.
Big, yeah. If you're walking down a corridor on a drone that's automated, well, it's not automated, is it? It can be controlled by a player. It's flying towards you with a fucking power plant. You're gonna
it's not so much drones can't go in ship, it's this ship's drones can't go inside the ship. Because if you see the picture, the drones are, twice, 3 times the size of a human? When they showed you the scout picture.
You know what they remind me of, actually? Have you ever seen Oblivion?
Yeah.
You know the drones from Oblivion?
Yeah,
they're like
they do.
slightly squidged versions of those.
If they make those noises, though, that would be so cool because they're scary.
They are scary,
They
sounding.
were quite terrifying. They were terrifying.
Take my money, fucking, I don't know. You're bugging me, I don't know what you want. That would be so cool.
As long as it's repairing, here's my money.
Yeah. Oh, you just repair it, I'll take my money back then. Sorry. Scramble on the floor. No, I think, if they can if they have a good sound system like that, that's going to be really cool with those drones. Because they are quite big and intimidating. And if you start getting attacked or boarded, well, not boarded, but can you use those fists? Can you use those little claws to punch people?
Well, somebody
into a
did
spin?
mention that somewhere,
Probably
I
not,
can't
but-
remember, so this is completely out of context. I don't know. I might be lying. But
Made
you're
up.
not, it was in RTV, I think, a couple of weeks ago, that you're not going to be able to do damage to people's ships with the drones.
No, because obviously that's like the opposite of what the drone
But-
intended for.
Opposite of its point.
If
But
you,
if you fly into
if you
someone,
ram it into somebody really
Yeah.
fast, will
Is
they
that,
just explode?
is
Yeah,
that a
if you
challenge? I'm
start-
sure I could do damage to somebody's ship if I tried.
honestly, just stick a claw out and start spinning, and then you'll send John in. John, just deviate.
I mean,
towards that
if I
spinning
turned
claw.
up to,
Yeah.
let's be honest,
But
if I
I
turned
don't
up to
want
you and
boss.
said, I'm here to repair your ship, don't worry, I'm in control of this drone, how safe would you feel as it comes flying towards you and I go, shit, which one's the brake?
Yeah, which you can
Smash.
just, like you can do damage if you sort of spin it against the ship, like tick 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 for the whole time. Surely it will wear away eventually.
Because they have said that it's going to sort of not go top speed, but there's going to be they have got a certain amount of speed to these drones. So I reckon we could. That's the first thing we're going to have to
drone.
try now when it comes. Is we're going to have to see how many drones, if we suicide them towards it, how many it takes to blow up a ship.
Can you imagine just like walking
drone
around your
wars.
ship and then going into the cockpit, and then outside the front of you just see like 40 drones just hovering there?
Attack!
Wow. Here's a question: do you guys think that you will be, like, say you need a reclaimer? We could all kind of like do like the Nostromo and like have we'd have grumpy people wanting to be paid, like the two engineers wanting to haggling about money on jobs and stuff. Do you
I
think
suspect that will happen.
think
Like
that will
something
happen?
dangerous will happen, and your engineer, whoever's playing the engineer, will just be like, "Hell, I didn't sign up for this. Unless you pay me an extra 10,000,
Yeah.
I'm fucking off in
The
the
AI
escape
is
pod."
Are we on about AI here? Like
Yeah, you mean
NPC?
the AI.
Well, combine both AI and real players.
I
Like, if
come in
you,
as
like,
a scientist.
living-
You didn't tell me we're going to a war zone. I'm out of here, sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you think like you'd be like, or not even just that, just because you're hanging out all the time on this space? Can you imagine like people, a group of friends, and all they have is like a big reclaimer or something, or they get to that big ship and they spend all their game playing the game like that together, going to mining from one place to another place, and just being
Mining
a
with
solid
reclaimer
crew.
confirmed.
Not mining claim, you know what I mean, like, or the Orion or whatever it is. Sorry, or salvaging.
That's what the reclaimer's well known
being
for,
a
isn't
bit-
it? Mine.
It's been a,
Being
it's
a
been,
bitch. Just get on with
it's
it.
been it's been a hard day.
Of watching
yeah,
a builder in your kitchen. I know how hard that is.
It's tough work. You got to make sure he's not from Liverpool. Otherwise, you'll be losing more than just a kitchen.
Is that an innuendo?
I
I can't tell.
don't
Did you
know
offer
with
him some
voice.
Tupperware?
I said to him, we do S. I said we do S.
Oh.
Buying it for some reason.
Probably a good
Yeah.
point. It's probably good that he got out at that point because I don't want to know what he said.
We saw the
Let's just
essence
move
of-
on.
But yeah, if you want to know what that reference is, watch the beginning of the podcast. If you've just come in,
You forgot what you're talking about now, haven't you?
What was that? Sorry.
No, madness. You were full in
Did you-
conversation there, and you.
did it stop again?
I can't even remember what you're talking about. I was interested.
Oh no, it was,
Tupperware.
it was not. It was about not. It was about not like just basically role playing or people living on a ship and kind of
Oh,
starting
that's
to
it.
get salty with each other, or having kind of like that kind of relationship where you play the game all the time on like an Orion and stuff like that. You know, literally you kind of really role playing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, or just living, breathing it, because the game could be like that.
I think there will be parts where if you've got a crew, like being the captain of like a reclaimer, for example, obviously your decision is final. But if you've got like a crew of 4 or 5 people and you come across like something that isn't generally work orientated, like you come across a space station which you probably can salvage, whereas you can a ship. If you're like, should we go and explore the space station? If like half the crew is like no and the other half is yes, then there will be an actual real life crew debate as to why you think you should and why you shouldn't. And if someone's like, I don't want to, like, it'll be like Alien, you know, like where people argue, like, I don't want to do that. That's just stupid. That's one of the guys from Aliens. I'm pretty
Well
sure.
done. That was uncanny.
Yeah, I taught him everything, you know.
His impressions are getting better by the minute.
It's like a kick in the face. It fucking.
It's unlocked the
Yeah,
impressionist.
But yeah, there will be debates, but also, like we said, AI will have Like, I really like this. Are we going to talk about AI soon? Is that coming up? Shall I leave it for now?
No, talk about it now if you want.
About how when it comes to hiring AI, in fact, I am working on a video for this. Just I've taken a little snippet of what I heard and I'm running with it. But they spoke about when it comes to hiring an AI, you'll see the skills, you'll see their abilities and things. That'll be present on their sort of CV when you're hiring them. What you won't see are traits. So if the example they gave is he's like a Unity activist. Yeah, literally someone like The Sims, bad example, I know, but they have traits. The clumsy trait, maybe someone drops components all the time and it costs you a foot. You're fired. So
you're fired. Just
having these sort of people that you don't know what their actual personalities are like. AI, their personalities, the NPCs that you hire, they will have personalities, and you won't know what they are until you've run a few missions with them and realised that they're actually a pain in the ass.
Well,
so that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, some of the mentions were talking about adding the subsumption to the pilots and stuff, but I do think that's one of the things I was thinking, that AI in this game is going to make like a huge difference to how the game feels and plays. Like they're definitely going above and beyond what other games have done for AI, and I do think giving them this like daily rotation or even a weekly rotation, so they might have days off, things like that. It was saying with the ship AI and that they'll actually choose which guns to shoot with you, maybe choose which loadout they think is best, giving them the ability to like quantum jump. So I think as we get further down the line, I'm really looking forward to seeing how well this subsumption works, because I know other games have tried it, but like you said, if you actually have AI that has a personality like that, that's gonna add like such a difference to the game. If you can if they get pissed off, or like you said, if they start fucking your ship up because they keep dropping shit.
Fucking your ship up. I'm going to fuck your ship up.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of games, isn't it? The AI, apart from scripted conversations that are built into the game, they're just very static. They don't, you play like Star Wars: The Old Republic, something like that. You've just got followers. They just follow you and they just walk a certain path. There's no interaction with them. There's no feeling with them. So I really hope that they do well with the AI in this. That's one of the things I'm probably looking forward to the most.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like you say, it like something they mentioned as well was that when you give AI commands, they're going to be basic commands. You're not going to be holding the hand like you would in Armour, where you have to you literally go over here and he goes running off. No, over here. No.
No, not there. No. Oh.
Over there. So yeah, so the whole enjoy your milk madness.
I hope you like it.
Milk and crackers.
Milk and cookies.
We're making you hungry, are we?
Oh, it is milk and crackers. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you say, AI is super important. Being able to control AI, but instead of controlling them in terms of now you go over here, now you cover me here, it's more of a general command, and their intelligence and their skill set and their traits will determine how well they actually handle that command.
Do we think that they're gonna did they say that they're gonna get better?
Yes.
If you hire them as a certain skill level, or would a barman all of a sudden be brilliant at mixing cocktails because he's done it for so long?
For the Phoenix.
The Phoenix, yeah.
That's
your first way, you see him chuck a bottle and he just drops it. He's like, first day, sorry mate. And then after a month of being on your ship, he actually manages to chuck a bottle and pour it, and you go, oh, well done, mate, you're getting there.
It's the fact that players, human players, are not going to have a skill tree. It's it's an MMO but without the traditional stats. Whereas the AI, the NPCs, are going to have their own stats. So you can if you hire someone with if you're looking for a turret gunner, for example, and you hire someone who is a turret gunner, the best of the best, it'll cost a fortune. Or you could hire someone who's not that good, and you can employ him for very little, and then you can train him up. What I want to know is that if you're training him up from being shit to being really good, surely his actual cost will increase. But if you've got a contract with him, then I guess his cost will remain the same, and you can eventually have a really good turret gunner for the price of shit.
But just like real life, will they really honour the contract though? Because that is a thing that happens to employers.
You sound burnt.
I am burnt. I trained them, damn it, and then they fucked off.
Well, actually, real people are fucking paid. Yes.
I paid them in all sorts of ways.
But no, it'll be interesting to see how that plays. And if they realise their quality, their ability, will they stay with you? Will they have some sort of allegiance with you because they've served with you for so long? Or I just like the idea of getting to have a crew. I would prefer to have a human crew, obviously, a real player crew that they have real people. I wouldn't. Yeah, Madness probably.
But you will form a bond, I reckon, with one or two AI characters.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably
when one of them especially on my single-seat Aurora.
Special bond.
You'll have a very special bond with some of your AI.
It's when you say, "Can you take off your undersuit?" and that's when they're like, "I quit. I'm off."
No.
This is sexual harassment case in game.
But will they get intelligent enough to actually take you for a sexual harassment call?
In the ship, the special casting couch on your 600i.
Yeah. Let me just set the camera up. Hang on, I'll be there. You make yourself comfortable.
Well, those hidden traits, can we interview them to see if we can worm out their hidden traits? See if they're clumsy, just chuck them something. Catch. Oh fuck yeah.
But it's like if you've ever gone to hire anyone, they're always perfect on the day, and then like a week or two later, that's when they feel like they're comfortable, and you start seeing these annoying traits, and you're like, I don't know this about you before. I saw your Facebook or anyone you're employing, Facebook them first.
We always do that at work and Twitter.
What was that? What was that thing I saw?
We actually denied somebody an interview because when we were going through their tweets, we found some really dodgy shit.
Well, it's like their emails. Super sexy 29. It's like, surely just get a professional email. Yeah. Have just a normal name. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
SuperMacBrothers@gmail. That's...
SuperMacBrothersRyan SNB.
Yeah. Big cock 29.
What?
I'm 31, I'm afraid. I lied about my age.
I'm 31, it's alright. I didn't get there fast enough.
The only lie in the email, I swear.
But there was something on, I don't know if it was Twitter or something, saying about like unpaid trial first shift or something. So like they're trying to get away from it because some people are saying that you part of the job interview is you do a trial shift unpaid. Like, can we do that? Just hire people and say, yeah, you're not getting paid until we actually realise whether you're any good at it or not. What are you doing, Madness?
I'm sorry, I'm stuck on this wooden chair and it's kicking. Oh, bro,
but it's good for your posture. Remember that.
Sit up properly.
Yeah, stop your whinging.
Sorry, I'm back on the chair. Anyway,
Oh well, Moist.
Do you like the picture I sent you on Discord?
Yeah,
oh, good.
Yeah, I'm not showing that on Twitter. With the new Twitch rules,
probably
I'll
for the
get
best.
banned from that, so I won't be showing that picture. But that's quite funny. I'll repair.
okay, so
you.
what do you guys think about the because like I was looking at the inside of the Phoenix. It looks really nice. Josh Coons is doing a really good job. It looks totally.
So much better
can't
than I thought.
believe that is an Andromeda. I was just like, where's all the space come from? Do you know what I mean? I was like, because when I get in there, when I get in, it's literally just. It feels really kind of like quite enclosed and narrow and long. Don't get me wrong, but it just feels like a barge. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've ever been on a canal barge, it feels like something like that.
I think they said, didn't they say that they were actually widening it to the standard constellations anyway? But they basically gutted out a shit ton of stuff so that they can fit, because it's got like extra rooms in it, and it's got like settees on the side, it's got a bar in the back. Yeah, I look at it and I think this is not a constellation. How have you squished all this in?
Did Saurus really just host us?
It said it did.
Hello, Saurus, and everybody.
Hello.
Saurus.
Thank you for the host.
Lovely.
No. Well.
Yeah, so I think what you was asking about it anyway, but it's
yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
It's coming along really well. I'd like to see more of it actually, because this is a ship. So the constellations, I'm not massively enamored with. Like, you know, they're not that great, but this one, it's like, this is looking really good. He's doing a really good job of it.
I don't know which constellation that I'm interested in, but I'd like to have a constellation for when I'm only playing with like 2 of my friends, because I can't think what other ship I would want to use. You know, if it's 2, 3, 4 people, I don't know what other ship I'd want to use in that scenario.
Yeah, there's kind of like the battle between that and the Starfarer, isn't it? I suppose. Well, no, I mean not Starfarer. I'm not talking about. I meant Freelancer, but we don't know because of the sort of reworks of the.
Connie.
Well, the Connie's kind of a step up almost because of the size
I think there's more to do in a Connie than a Freelancer or a Cutlass Black.
Yeah.
I think those ships are more for like 2 people.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I've always felt that the Freelancer was kind of, and now the Cutlass is kind of the ship that's at the top tier of soloing it well enough. You go above that, and then you're talking about more of a multi-crew ship, I think. Obviously, when we see more stuff for you to actually do within the ship, but
yeah.
That was a nice conversation.
That was a lovely conversation.
Well, it was.
No,
the Constellation, though, like, am I the only person that feels like the Constellation is feeling dated? I think I'm the only person feeling like that, but it feels old now to me. But maybe it's just because I've been going in there for so long.
I feel
now.
like the Freelancer is dated more.
Yes,
even though it had an
update
update with the change in the cockpit and everything else, I feel like that update was a little bit too soon. And now we have I feel like with the Cutlass update, I do feel like the Freelancer needs another look at. To be honest, and I wonder because they've changed and taken the variants off of the roadmap, haven't they, as well? So I wonder if they're thinking the same, that the variants at least need a lot more thought into how they're going to go about it and how they're going to change them.
Yeah.
But I can see what you're saying with the Constellation, but
that said, if you compare it to the original Constellation, like there's a huge that makes it look like Half-Life 2 sort of model in comparison.
I mean, for me, the Connie, it just needs the Merlin to be able the docking to work to get that thing out the back of its ass. That would be helpful.
Yeah.
It could do with. I mean, it depends on the. Next, like a huge improvement on space, then a lot of people I think will be saying, "Can we get a bit better improvement on space on some of the other models internally?" Because I know that they've been changing the way they build ships to be more internal.
But don't you feel like I feel like that's what the Cutlass did? As soon as they beefed that up a bit and everything and gave you more internal space to it, that's kind of what it's made me feel like with the other ships. Like, hang on, now the others feel like they're lacking on the internal
of internal space. Did anybody see the picture that was on Reddit today where they blew up an Avenger Titan and just made it huge and then had a temporal cyclone coming out the back of it? I should have put it in the doc. It was so good. And do you know what it looked like? It looked like the shuttle from, I don't want to upset people, Avatar. And that was my favorite thing from that movie. That ship was, or whatever it was awesome. And it really looked like a fat shuttle Avatar. I want an Avenger Titan that's like the size of a star right now.
It's a nice look. I mean, they've improved the size already, haven't they?
Yeah.
Bigger already, so.
I'm looking forward to those updates, though, because I think, seeing the inside of it. I think when we got like the Mustang, the Aurora's got a slight change, and then the Avenger, it's all getting. They're kind of changing the first ideas of what the inside would look like. I suppose it sounded like a good idea at the time, and then maybe through trying to animate it, like especially with the Mustang trying to get up underneath and you're half crawling up through the ladder. Maybe this just felt like this is what we had in the vision, and in the vision it was cool, but it's not coming through on the animation and actually working. And so that's why we're getting these sort of shape changes and making them slightly more increased, giving more room in them. So. It's interesting to see how they're going to look. But the Avenger Titan,
the new Mustang is gorgeous, in my opinion. I really like it, and it's made me want to buy one. I think so. I think the old one is really ugly.
I'm torn. Some angles, it's yes. I think the Omega looked sick. The colorway and the red, and I'll wait until it's fully colored.
I just want to get my beta back. I bought a Mustang beta a while back. And
I knew you'd regret that.
You're right. I mean, luckily it's not an expensive ship, so I'll be able to pick it up again.
It will be when it gets changed.
Yeah, that's
true. We were just looking on the video then. We were just looking at the temporal cyclone. I didn't realize there was a ramp coming out the back of it. And it kind of makes me think that is it really? Okay.
Well, kind of the case. It allows the cargo to be pushed.
Loaded. Yeah, I suppose so. You need a ramp because you can't jump up very high or push the box in. So I suppose it's a way to get you up onto that flat platform to then put your cargo box in it, I suppose.
Matt Sherman's in chat though, and I have a quick question. I don't know if Matt Sherman can answer this question, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. The problem that they had when they were doing a demo a couple of years ago, I think it was for CitizenCon, where they landed and they couldn't quite reach the ramp to jump back into the ship.
For the address. Oh, sorry, no, the free there.
The
freelancer.
Is that like? Are we actually going to see like? Are we going to be able to lower the ramps anymore or raise them?
Oh, you mean like... Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because it'd be a shame to see like ramps clipping through. I know it'll never be perfect.
I heard something about that, and I can't remember what it was because
we haven't heard anything since.
Issue.
I don't think.
Yeah, because I got stuck.
I think probably not, because didn't they say something along that it has to be a certain angle? And that's kind of what they were having issues with the outpost and stuff as well.
Maybe it's more of an animation thing where we should be able to climb up onto
the...
I agree with
that's
you,
what they said. You will be able to...
Oh, okay. That's
Good
cool
point.
then.
Nice one.
But with that, you can't with the cargo in your hands. But yeah, well, I see what you mean. But it would be actually kind of nice if you could just move that up and down to reach the ground.
Yeah, I think metrics don't allow it. I think the metrics have to meet a certain angle. Otherwise, it just...
there we go. So for some ships, yeah, there's some loose plans for more dynamic door locations, but even with that, there's a finite limit. So
hopefully we'll be able to like up and down a little bit within reason of making it so that the ramp's still drivable up. I think that's the problem. You'd be like one of those where it always goes too far. So you go up and oh god damn it, then you go down too much. Oh, for fuck's sake!
It's more like when you're trying to get into a car, like your friend's driving, and you go to the door and they drive off.
Yeah, kind of like that.
And then you go to the door and you're like, I'm just gonna get the bus. Fuck you.
I'm just gonna get the bus. Fuck it. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So have we got any more questions? Okay, so we got another one from Evis saying this is a can't you condense your questions slightly? I've got an essay here. I'm curious if any of you have noticed and appreciate what CIG has done with the new ways of interacting with the community and disseminating information, with quarterly releases and stating that they are simply hoped-for dates for content release, and the Spectrum thread for asking questions in their presentations voted on by the community. They have effectively absolved themselves of any responsibility for any disappointment in content releases, times by setting out a standard expectation, we'll release it when it's done.
I will say that they have actually recently done a really, really good job of managing expectations, and I will say that the roadmap was brilliant for that, because yes, the morning after we found out that bind culling had moved, people were upset, but people would have been more upset if we found that out the day before 3.1 came out. Do you know what I mean? So I think they've done a good job personally.
I honestly think this is what people have been asking for a long time. You might get disappointed, ups and downs where things added, it's taken away, but this is more open. It feels much more open development, much more what we were kind of asking for. So we can see. So if something gets delayed, fine, but we know it now. We can look at it and say, look, it's been put back. They've told us that it's difficult, and we're getting questions answered on Spectrum, which again is always a good thing.
Yeah, it's transparency, isn't it? And like he says, like the questions that are getting answered on things like calling or devs, they're our questions. The questions that are upvoted. You can't argue with a democracy. It's like if everyone wants, but some of the questions like we already know these questions. But that's the thing. It's like if the majority are saying so, fair enough. There's no reason why they should answer any of the questions. So it like you say, it resolves them of any responsibility.
I think for a lot of us, we've been here for so long now that, especially as streamers, you get asked the same questions every stream. And it's just the nature of the project, really. You get people come in, they're interested, they ask the questions, and then they go away for a while. And then you get new people come in, ask the same questions, and they go away for a while. And it's just going to happen, I think.
Yeah, and to be honest, when we get new people in who ask the original questions that have been answered years ago, it's actually quite refreshing to reevaluate over them. And I'm pretty sure the chat enjoy doing it because they get involved and they start helping. And it's
interesting to see how things evolve as well, because it's talked about in either Around the Verse or Reverse Verse this week, where they talk about the process where they just go away and they do R&D and they try things and things don't work and they try other things, and you look back at what the original plan was, and we've actually ended up with something quite different because it actually turned out not to be fun.
Yeah.
You know, something
Yeah.
you might think will be fun just doesn't turn out to be fun.
That's why when people like holding to us, you promised this feature, you promised this, and it's like, look, you've got to have a little bit of trust that they're testing it, and
Yeah.
if it's crap, there's no point just sticking it in for the sake that they said it was going to be in.
Yeah.
Well, something that was in RTV that I thought was quite interesting is to do with, you know, when they said, does the roadmap cover everything that's being worked on, that's coming out at that time? And something they said is that there's a lot, not a lot, but there's a few research and development projects that are not listed. That basically they don't want to sort of commit to saying it's going to be in because they're still testing it. They're still testing the waters with it. But they say it's the sort of things that if it does work, it'll be excellent. If they get it to a point where it's stable and proven, then they'll show us. If not, then they'll just wait until it is. Or if it doesn't work altogether, they'll just start with something else.
One of those things was the what's it called, the camera tools.
No, that's
they did
more
say that's not
just
on the roadmap,
updating it.
No, they said it's not on the roadmap at the moment because they don't know, you know, when or how it even feasible. But they're working on it, and if it, like you said, I thought that's what it was. It was that if it works, yeah, the director mode, that was it. So they said
when they showed that
roadmap.
off, it was that was concept art that we were seeing, wasn't it? You know, I don't think it's
with the overlay. That wasn't like a research and development thing. That was something they're planning to do. They're planning to bring us better intuitive controls that are on screen rather than like keybinds that you're like.
The one speaking of concept art, though, I think something that I would like to see is when they are actually showing something like that is concept art. Please put concept art on the video because it does make people think that there's a working prototype. Because I am questioning whether that is concept art or whether it is actually a working prototype.
See, I don't know. I mean, it could be actual footage of the thing. But
that's the thing, we don't know because they don't.
No,
when
true.
they show just concept arts of stuff, they don't put this is concept art. You know, so.
No, I agree. If they could do that would be great. Actually.
They do tend to put work in progress.
Yeah, but the whole project is a work in progress.
I thought they just meant they whipped.
We've whipped this one up earlier. This is one I whipped up earlier.
There you go.
Nothing to do with work in progress.
I think one of the things, to answer the question, I'm quite impressed with CIG's more consistency between all the different social media outputs in terms of trying to keep things tight and consistent. They had a few little slip-ups, whereas before it was like, you know, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. They tightened that. They've really tightened that up a little bit more this year for me, which is I'm pleased with that. I think Spectrum's proving to be a bit more useful than it was. So yeah, overall, I think they've improved. I'd be curious if somebody put on their one of their questions, how much money does CIG have left in the bank? That would be interesting to see if they ever actually answered that question.
To be honest, it's an irrelevant question. Their finances,
it is irrelevant because the project, even if they ran out of money, I'm pretty sure they could find investment backers really quickly.
What they have in their terms of backer money is not the same as what they have in terms of financial backing from other
Exactly.
Their finances, I know others will disagree with me, but their finances are not our business, which is why the lawsuit with Crytek, not our business. Our business is the game. Our business is seeing the game. It's not about the financial difficulties or non-difficult, you know, whatever. That's not. I don't care.
It's also very difficult to say what they got left in the bank when they get funding daily on different ships. So it's
someone asked them if somebody was to say, you know, I'd like to know how much you make subs a month. I'd like to know how much your revenue is.
But then imagine the shitstorm. Like we don't know how they distribute their money anyway. So imagine the shitstorm. If we hear they earn this much. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So many people make assumptions on the information that we do have. Can you imagine how many more assumptions would be made?
That's not how you develop.
We saw there was only $1 million in this particular account. You know, it's like
$200 million there.
I mean, we already had comments on our last podcast on YouTube saying, "What the fuck? Why haven't they got more network engineers than that?" And then when I said, "Well, how many network engineers are they supposed to have on a game this size?"
But on
there
top
was no
of that,
response.
There are people screaming, well, why don't they have more of X job role when there are postings for that job role and they're trying to recruit for it?
Yeah, they're actually that, but if you have never developed this sort of game before, there's no point you mouthing off why don't they have more people stuck on it when you have no idea.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, I see some like comments come up. Like one guy said, it's one of the latest comments that happened just before these. I bought this game to test it. I spent $400 on a ship. I bought this game to test it. I spent $400 on shit.
You could have tested it with 30 quid.
And I can't even get into play and test the fucking game. It's like, well, why the fuck did you spend $400, you idiot?
Yeah.
And why is he telling you? It's like it's
daily basis. I get stupid questions.
Contact support.
Like,
contact support if you can't get in, because it's
like,
everyone else
you're an
manages to
idiot.
get in. Even with shit frames, we can still get in and play. So
yeah, like fuck you. Basically, is the answer I would have back to him I wasn't so.
It's like going and buying a car and having no intention to take your driving license, driving test. I just spent $5,000 on a car and I can't fucking drive it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well done.
I'm a very, very, very patient person. I have zero patience for people who do that sort of thing and are really ignorant. If you're parting with $400, right, clearly you earn too much fucking money. And if you're not paying any attention to what you're doing with it, you earn too much money. It's like...
Yeah, it's just
why?
Like, whatever. Just I would rather not respond to them to remain an adult than go down that your mum sort of line, which I will do. I will go that way if I get poked. I'm like a bear. I'll start using your mum jokes.
Leave my mum out of it.
Like bears do.
Yeah. It's like
your
Matt
bears
Sherman
do
just
your
said.
mum jokes today.
Matt Sherman just said that's how I feel basically every time I see someone try and make a comparison between Star Citizen and any other single player game.
Star Citizen and Mass Effect are very similar.
Yeah,
Well.
and it's not even that. It's like
what it is.
Two studios will have completely different. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming take everything we say with a pinch of salt, but it's typically I've worked.
What we're comparing, Moist. It depends what we're comparing, because I don't think that many people compare many different things to a standard. At the end of the day, if we're comparing the game manufacturer, say for example Project Red that did Witcher, their high standard of which they achieved that game, you can compare that to Star Citizen and say, look, there's a studio that made a very high standard game for AI and all the rest of it. You can easily say Star Citizen needs to have the same high standard of AI and all the rest of it. You can compare those and say to them, you can.
Well, not really, because the AI in a game like that is programmed to interact with one single person, which is you. The AI in a multiplayer game has got to interact with multiple different people at multiple different times and have all that.
Something to bear in mind as well is
standard. I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. But I'm saying there's nothing wrong with comparing and saying here's a great studio with a great stat, like they're trying to hit a very high standard for their game, and here's another studio that's trying to hit the same high standard for the game. I'm not trying to bring it down. I'm just saying I agree. There's total differences in the construction of the games, but to say this is, I think
it's more about the atmosphere. You would like to see a feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like with The Witcher, I haven't played The Witcher an awful lot, but the AI feels kind of like
the trouble is, we have nothing else to compare it to. That's the thing, and there's no way of everyone is always going to compare Star Citizen with something else. Yeah, whether that's the FPS, the flight, the community, everything is going to get compared to something else. But in terms of a project, it is completely differently done. And comparing this to a finished game is obviously a no-brainer. You can't do it, because what is currently in the game at the moment is nowhere near finished. Everything will be iterated upon until it's to a point where they feel happy with it, we feel happy with it. Well, mainly them. You can't compare it to other games.
Can I explain the thing that I love the most about Star Citizen?
I was going to say, just before you do that, I was going to say, we'll be comparing new space games to Star Citizen. Star Citizen's finished.
Well, yeah, of course we will.
Well, we already do it now, don't we? Anything that's coming in early development, or I do it in. I know you, like you just saying, you can't compare, but come on, every game we play, I go, this would be cool if Star Citizen has this, or this would be cool if it has
that's what I mean. It's just common. It's just the way we are programmed is to compare it with something else. But take it with a pinch of salt or an open mind that it's not finished. Oh, like going back to the whole about the clothing clipping through and stuff, saying you see finished games that are clipping, Star Citizen are clipping, but that's not to say when the game is finished there won't be any clipping. We don't know.
And this comes to my point, right? So I use Ubisoft as an example of what I hate from games, a lot of single player games, and that's that they get stale. Like all Ubisoft games to me feel exactly the same. Like you see the same mechanics in the new Assassin's Creed that you see in Ghost Recon Wildlands, even though they're completely types of environment. the thing that I love about Star Citizen is how much research and development they're pumping into this, and it's things like the clipping. Like, you see games like that, and I'm sure that Ubisoft has departments that do R&D, but like it never actually seems to evolve, and they don't seem to care about shit like that. Whereas I'm being really patient with this project. Yes, I want to see it out within about 3 years, hopefully. But
3 years ago,
I'm glad that they're taking the time to do the R&D, because it goes back to what they were saying, I think, in ATV, not RTV this week, where just because they have an idea doesn't mean that that idea ends up being fun, which is why they go back, they try a different method. If that doesn't work, they try a different one. That's the whole point of R&D, and that's why the project is taking so long. You know, so
it is. They're building a game that if money and time, like I said before, wasn't an issue, they would have the ultimate game. And that's what I truly believe this is going to be. With enough time, with enough money. And yes, it may take a bit more time, it may take a bit more money, but they are creating a game that ultimately, Chris Roberts, we all want to see this. Yes, the trouble is it's just taking so long, and as gamers, we don't have a good amount of patience. You know, we want things now. You know, the generation wants things now. But it'll eventually get there, and it'll eventually be to the point where everything, like you say, it's all being researched. It's being developed to the point where you think, why not? Why not push it that far? If you can find a solution to something, find it and do it. So we will eventually get there. It's just when. And
something you have to bear in mind as well, all this technology that they're designing in-house can then be sold to other developers.
Yeah, what an engine they have.
Which means more money to produce games in the future.
They've even got tools that control tools.
It's
what?
I mean, I don't know enough about games, speaking of it, but if I was a game developer right now and I was to see the state of stuff, tools that they have, the potential for tools, sure. Right now, I would touch them with a barge pole.
Well, I can understand that, but hopefully, you know, you can see the grand.
I would see the potential. Yeah, I'd see the potential for sure, and I would say, well, okay, yeah, let's see where it pans out in the next couple of years. But at the same time, you forget there's a lot of other game engines out there. This is a very open development. There's a lot of people watching this, and we'll be taking ideas right off the page right now, already developing it. There's games like Beyond Good and Evil 2, where we talk about comparisons. That game is on a similar time track to this game, and if that gets released before this game and is more fun and does everything that this game does, we'll have another conversation.
The same size and scale, though, is it?
I don't. Doesn't necessarily. Does it? Do you have to have the same? I mean, we've already seen this with Elite Dangerous. Billions of planets doesn't necessarily make a great game.
No, but if
the exploration
you're saying a bit coming up earlier that sometimes the technology is taking longer because of the scale of Star Citizen, and I don't mean being big open universes. It's because of that is part of that, but like the size of how many planets are, the level of detail they're going to. So like Earth and Beyond might come out, but it's not going to have that sort of level of detail to the minute sticker when you look at your magazine in the bedroom when you wake up to the
scenes,
you know.
But yeah, well, I mean, again, I don't know. They're supposed to have an open development, so we'll see little bits now and again. Do you know what I mean? So I can't say, but it's on a similar road path. So
the main reason for the holdups is because they're creating tools which make things quicker in the long run, which is actually super important, and I can understand exactly why they've prioritized that. Yeah, I mean, if they pump that out at the time that they said it was going to be released, it just wouldn't look like it is now, and it wouldn't like what we've seen with ships, with everything. They've got pipelines which they had to create. Tools to create those things fast, because they realized that there's 100 systems, each with so many planets, each with so many moons. There's so many ships that are coming out. They can't, realistically, if they were going to do it, this kind of condenses it to maybe a 10-year plan compared to actually a 20-year plan where it would have been taking ages to recreate each planet. So it literally has taken less time than it should have done, than it actually would have done if they hadn't created these tools. But we have to wait. We have to go in the downside of not having a lot of content because the tools are being created. So now they're done on being almost completed. Yeah, we should see a big influx of things after the first system is created, and then, you know. So technically,
it's why everything's being encapsulated into this small system with just a few moons. So it means, because basically they can do everything they want to do on a larger scale within this small scale, get it right, and then hopefully, like you said, the tools will be ready to just go wild and expand it on everything else that they want to do.
VCQBR in chat says, the longer Star Citizen is delayed, the farther the competition gets along, the less excited the fans will be. 2 points I'm going to make. One, that's fine. It's probably best that a lot of fans stop being excited, because then they'll stop whinging and just come back when it's done. But then when it comes out, they will be excited. And two, I want there to be more competition. I want more space games. I want more space combat. You know, that's one of the mantra that Chris Roberts has been shouting since the very beginning. He's been praising Elite Dangerous. He's been praising lots of games because we want more of this genre, because we went so many years without this genre, you know.
And we've already seen loads which were probably influenced by Star Citizen already. And like early access games,
We've
like Hellion, Osiris,
films, games, fiction, all sorts of stuff that I honestly believe is due to, like, what happens, it's supply and demand. So you see the amount of, like, you see like $200 million nearly of funding. That's the demand for sci-fi. And now all of a sudden we're just seeing this massive influx of sci-fi genre films and games and TV series, which, like they said to Chris Roberts, sci-fi is dead, or space games are dead, PC games. Now people are like, actually, $200 million says you're wrong. So
here's my question. And this is kind of fence talking. Can you, and please tell me if I cut out. Okay. So my biggest concern, and I read this from someone else, kind of agree a little bit with them, but it's a concern nonetheless, is that the longer the game takes to be made, there's a greater risk and chance that people will just be like, and we'll start to stop to care, and other games will come along and will replace Star Citizen in that position, because they will have be doing it as well and be inspired along the same road and create better games than Star Citizen, because they just
that's the key.
taking
It'd
their
have
time.
to be a better game. It'd have to be a better game than Star Citizen for that to happen. People will lose interest. We've already seen it. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's already happening.
Twitch viewership for Star Citizen is down massively, and it's just because of the part of development stage that we're in. There's not enough to keep people's interest. Which
you can only watch people
enough.
flying around a planet or moon, for so long.
Exactly.
You know?
But the fact is, when the game is finished already, they will come back again because of the hype around it. When it just, like, yeah, people can go off and they can play other games. Another game can take pride. I mean, Star Citizen isn't the most watched game. It's not the most excited space game, because the games that actually work, that are finished. But it will always be there in the like. Obviously, I'm a fanboy, so it's always my top game. But other people will prioritize it differently, and when the game is finished, they will come back again, and it will be proven.
When we have a game, as streamers, we will have different scenarios each time we stream, hopefully. You know, but we just don't have, unless you're somebody like The Few, who can just pull these amazing scenarios out of your head with not much, then it is difficult to have a different scenario for each stream at the moment, you know, so we'll see what the future brings.
People have been doing that for a long time. We've been doing that for a while. Like, we've made scenarios up. We've done Attack on the Starfarer. We've done Defend Covalex. We've done, you know, we've gone through and cycled through a shitloads of different things. But I think it's natural for, especially in this stage of development, for things to wane and often people lose interest. The key is pulling those people back in again. And as long as it hits the targets that it's going for, it will pull those people back in. People will. Like, I've already had, like I said to Mac today, someone sent me a message who I sold this game to probably a couple of years ago now. He just sent me a message. So, do we have a release date? Is it out yet? And I was just like, no. And he goes, okay, thanks. Carry on. You know,
I have people coming in chat from 3-4 years ago that I am like, oh shit, welcome back. They're like, what's the status of the game?
Just come back for an update.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's not ready. It's okay.
The key is that, yes, it doesn't want to get too tied up in its own development that something else comes along that's as good or better. The chances of that happening is probably slim because of the amount of effort that this game is taking. I can't say it's impossible, but that's what will keep this one ahead. It's got to be, when it comes to being released or closer to being released, it's got to be the top game. It's got to be doing things that nothing else can offer, and then that will pull people back in.
And also, Squadron 42 with Oscar winners cast.
Best actor.
Oscar winning
That,
cast.
I mean, to be honest, that enough will bring people's attention to the game because it's not just. It's like the thing. Star Citizen's groundbreaking in what it's trying to achieve and what it's doing, and that will always be, as a technological feat, quite high up in sort of the minds of gamers. So having a cast like that, especially, is going to be like, well, there's always going to be hype coming back to the game. And when Squadron 42 is released, it may take another couple of years until
Squadron 42 with Academy Award winner Brian Blessed. Just saying.
Brian is Brian Blessed?
No, but can you imagine?
He's
done the voice
Kingdom
packs, so
Come.
there's
He
no
is in
reason
Kingdom
why not.
Come.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's done the voice packs.
Can we get Brian Blessed, please?
He's done the HCS voice packs. So
I feel the
don't see why
need.
not. It might get a character for him.
He's a legend. Next.
So yeah, I think that's wrap that up. That was a weird ending to that conversation, but still. So I think that we'll call that a closure. I think.
Call that 9.
We'll call that 9. Episode 9. So we'll wrap up. Thanks everybody for joining us and hanging out. We're going to see what everybody else is up to this week, and then we'll end the podcast. So Noodle, we'll start with you this time, Mr. Noodle, Mr. Blue Hair. What are you up to this week?
I'm actually streaming.
Woohoo!
Not streaming Star Citizen at the moment. I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance and Warhammer. Vermintide.
Vermintide.
And I actually have.
When is that beta finishing? Vermintide.
I think it's
Beta.
a week. I think. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
It's open beta, so I don't think we're losing progress. But yeah, I have my streaming PC. I just need to put my capture card in it, so hopefully I should resolve many issues this week, which will be lovely. But I'm hoping to stream most days this week, dependent on how shattered I am from work. I do have a really busy week this week, so fingers crossed.
Cool.
With kitchens and
With
shit.
kitchens.
With
Selling
kitchen.
a kitchen. Check my eBay. Got it worked up. Perfect.
Nice. Check your eBay. That's it. Mac is back.
Mac is back. Do you know when I was playing Battlefield, there was someone called Mac, and I actually thought about contacting them and saying, "I'm going to
Yeah?
find you."
Oh, what is
kill
it?
you.
Just contact us. Say, what do you want?
Yeah, what is it? I will be streaming tomorrow. It's kind of back to usual now. I've got back on track with YouTube, so I'll be bringing some YouTube videos out. We've got the hunt with myself and Mizzy G, where I've got like a split screen. I think you're releasing the same video, aren't you? But in your view and my view,
version of it.
different.
Yeah,
if we actually do the same view each time,
that would be really weird, wouldn't it?
really weird. There's also Kingdom Come. Gonna keep up with that series. I've got a couple of videos, one based on hiring NPCs and the NPC skills like we've talked about today, and the monthly report coming up, plus whatever I feel is appropriate from ATV, Conning on Devs, which has just been released, so I'm interested in watching that. Streaming back to normal. Tuesday I'll be streaming, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday hopefully I should be streaming as normal, doing a bit of Star Citizen, doing some Escape from Tarkov. What else did I play? What else was I playing? There was something else. There was another game. Can't remember what it is. But yeah,
No idea.
that's generally it. Face will get back to normal without the boot mark.
Should have just got like got a boot and put some polish on it just so you could have the boot mark on your face.
I'm still suffering. It hurts.
Madness, are you going to talk, or are you two breaking up? You know, you're not actually doing anything this week.
I will be only streaming once I can get back into my kitchen and get everything finished. So I probably won't be streaming this week, but I'll be in lots of people's streams. And I'll be hanging out with everyone and chatting and causing lots of stirring, lots of nonsense I always like to do. People's channels. So yeah, and if I can be on D&D on Friday, hopefully it'll be finished by then. So hopefully Dungeons and Dragons on Friday. Stout and sturdy. And so yeah, but like I said in chat, please, if you enjoy what we've done and what we do this every week. Your help supporting us financially is really appreciated. So please, if you have any sort of like coppers, pennies, whatever, feel free to chuck it in our Patreon or donations and stuff. It helps us keep the lights on, as it were, for the software and stuff like that. So really
What
helpful.
he said.
Thank you.
And yep, so for me, obviously streaming D&D on Friday. Hopefully I'll have my spray varnish thing for my models for Wednesday, so we'll be doing paint, prattle and roll. Other than that, a few announcements. If he wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, I'll do a last plug tonight for BritterzenCon, !BritterzenCon in chat. Myself, Mac, well, and Noodle, are you going, Moist? You are going, yes. All three of us will be at BritterzenCon this year. You can come and find us there. There will be loads of other people there. There's devs there. There's lots of things going on. And there should be a tournament going on as well. Some dev panels as well. So, !BritterzenCon in chat to get your link. Go and buy yourself a ticket. Come and join us. The event, Friday and Saturday, there's 2 bar citizens. So make sure you come to both of those as well. So we look forward to meeting you there.
The lowdown on the first one?
Go for it. Chef and
Brewhouse and Kitchen.
Brewhouse and Kitchen, that one. Not Chef
what
and
did
Brewer.
you call it?
Chef and Brewer. I think that's a chain.
Oh,
I think that's a chain that does some of these ones in Wales, yeah.
Well, so it's Brewhouse, isn't it? That's a chain.
It is another chain, yeah. Brewhouse and Kitchen, I think that's it's a small chain, isn't it? I don't know. But that's what it's called,
a
Brewhouse and Kitchen.
Tiny chain. But that's going to be... It's technically, they've booked it for like 6:30 to 9:30, which... means nothing.
Yeah,
you show
because we're all going to end up drinking till 9:30 and then go. Yeah.
All right, guys. That's not fuck you all. But if you want food, you go down, you order it separate to the bar citizen. You can eat it within the group, but it's not. You don't get fed. Fuck you all. You can buy your own food. It's going to happen in Wilmslow. What's that?
Wilmslow, yeah.
I forgot to mention before we go. Sorry to you. There's a bar because you're talking about bar citizen. There's a bar citizen in London this week that I will be going to on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Chad's got some really nice little giveaways. Please check it out. I don't think I've got a link for it, but we'll try and find one if I can find one quickly. I think it's in my Discord. Carry on.
Speaking of giveaways, we're giving away a Vulcan. Exclamation on Vulcan in chat.
I was going to get on to next, but yes, thank you very much. Huge thank you to Moist Noodle for donating the Vulcan. Extremely appreciate that. So yeah, if you do !Vulcan in chat, you can enter our Gleam giveaway and join that. And good luck, because me or Madness is probably going to win it anyway. So do we get extra entries for being hosts?
Before we go, can I do the ultimate unboxing?
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
You go for the ultimate unboxing. For the Americans that can't unbox this themselves. So while he's beginning that, yeah, we'll just finish off what we were saying. So yeah, Wilmslow, the Brewhouse and Kitchen on the Friday. Apparently Mac and I are hosts, which just basically means that we're going to turn up, drink, and tell you to turn up and drink in the same location.
Yeah, as long as we don't drink too much the night before, we can drink as much as we like on the day, because by the time we get too wasted, we'll have finished the stream.
Yeah.
Or we'll have someone else taking over.
So we, on the streaming day, on BritterzenCon day, also we're going to be there hopefully a little bit earlier. So we're gonna, if we can, we're gonna use our phones and try and do a stream with the queue, or maybe ask some people in the queue, go around and chat to people that way. So if you see us, come and find us, because that'll be good fun to get you on and say hello and warm up the crowds that are watching on Twitch. But yeah, it's going to be a good event, so make sure you do come to that.
Yeah.
How's the unboxing
We got Ninja
going?
What's Her Face from that movie that nobody liked.
Ninja What's Her Face from that. That's
Katana.
I've never heard of that movie.
Katana.
Who?
Katana.
All I hear is Kuntana.
Katana. It's Katana.
Don't you even build the model anymore? Was that built?
Yeah, I
inside
put
the
it apart. Put it apart.
Oh, right.
It
Was
came in
it
2 parts.
just the body and the base?
Can I just say?
I can pull its torso off. There we go.
Moist Noodle,
See?
that was the
torso, okay.
worst unboxing ever. Like, you're not
What's
supposed to
happened with
unbox
Penis
off
Surprise?
stream.
Oh, was I? Hang on. Oh.
Did he off-box? Did he unbox it? It's like, here's one I made earlier. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
He
here's one.
literally did unboxing off stream.
This is why I don't do YouTube videos.
There you
I've got
go,
this brilliant
Katana.
unboxing here. hang on.
Katana.
I was really hoping it was going to be a Harley Quinn, but no, it's Katana. Everybody.
You see, back in the day when Miserable remembers them being 50 pence each, you used to get little Airfix models in them that you had to glue and
Yeah, those were the days.
up a Meccano set
A
inside.
little like catapult that you could actually fire shit.
Tickle
on that,
bricks.
Yeah. So
Now I have
Hang on,
chocolate.
we can't go just yet. I need to figure out bloody.
It's okay, we can talk.
we can't go. Okay, so
Continue
we'll
chatting.
keep talking.
talk
So
bullshit.
exclamation mark! I think merch in chat as well. If you want to buy one of our wonderful T-shirts, let's just sell ourselves.
I'm
out
wearing
at the
one.
moment.
You said it was too creased, so you put a
Moist
hoodie
Noodle's
on.
wearing it, but he's hiding it because it's creased. They do come pre-creased.
It's creased. I've
for the effect.
That's exactly what I sound like. Wow, so uncanny.
And that's the hoodie you came back with. To hide the
wait,
crease. What is that hoodie from?
Into the AM.
Oh, okay.
Into the am.com/WTF Saurus. Thank you, because I don't have one of my own.
That's the Facebook, and it's normally 3 o'clock at Namco Funscape in London near Waterloo. So basically, literally, it's like right next to London.
Has it taken you that long to find the fucking address?
It's because they've been talking about changing the address. And so I wanted to make sure that they haven't changed it, because they've been talking about finding a new location, but it doesn't appear they've still changed it.
I've just thought of a better website.
BritizenCon, this is Sparsis.
I know it's not,
Yeah,
but
the
I'm just
Barsits
throwing that
and
while
web-
you're
So
talking about it. I'm not
Do you
confusing
reckon-
anything. We all know.
Confuse me.
You're
No,
on
me.
about
You
the
confuse me.
Oh, confusing you. It's the
Do you reckon
London
we
bar
could get-
citizen that you're talking about.
Do you think we could get a bra citizen?
I'll go to that.
We need some female characters in games.
Really, so if
I mean,
females...
for Moist, we can have like males wearing bras. You wouldn't mind that, would you?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
There you go.
Right.
Leather bra citizen.
On that wonderful note, thank you everybody for sticking with us, and you're still here. Wow.
It was a bizarre
We appreciate your
podcast.
support as
And
always.
if you come on Sunday, come and see you on Sunday at Bar
Sunday,
Citizen.
go
Wait,
and meet
wait, is it
Madness
this Sunday?
He'll buy you a pint.
This
in
Sunday,
London.
Oh, I'm not going to London. Fuck that. It's a lot of effort.
Say, come and
Of-
say hi.
Bra
Fine.
citizen confirmed.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
guys. Thank you
Let's
very
get it
much. Catch you all later.
Get to
And, goodbye.